I'm gonna go ahead and start the stream since we're basically recapping last session. So we're gonna start
And
streaming.
a word in it.
Yeah, I just we got prompted for that. I don't know if we were all actually ready or not. But that's kind of where we're at. Alrighty, we are live, everybody.
I don't see you yet.
I'm not
Yeah,
live,
but
I'm
it's-
Carrie.
Wait, you're dead?
You're funny. He's not alive. Well, I guess Decorm died, y'all. Our paladin's gone.
Bye bye.
Lady Licky will no doubt leave delicious.
Holy shit, I did not like that joke. Oh my god, I care about Lady Licky. Oh no.
Oh my god.
I care about Lady Licky more than any of you.
I got feelings.
Oh no!
Decorm has feelings, oh god no.
I've only had Lady Licky for 48 hours, but if anything would ever happen to her, I would kill everyone and then myself.
Thank
There
you for
I
that reference.
am.
I love it.
Decorm is the big bad evil guy from next campaign.
No, that's my role as a PC to make the evil characters.
That's true. How am I gonna turn Hephe evil?
Wait, haven't you already started that?
I mean, we did it
What?
to a freaking Azamar, so I mean...
That's true.
I'm just saying, didn't we already start making me evil? I mean, Chody's right all along, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. Turns out that the reason that Hephe didn't get taken by the demon is he's actually the demon. He's the one who's
You've
like,
been
all
playing
right.
a demon lord all this time.
Don't kill anything because it's fun. Life is
Torture
more
it
suffering
instead.
than death.
He's just slowly been getting connections, and that's why he could remove the connection. The actual reason.
It's like when people die, their suffering ends. Death finds a way, Hephe.
Death finds a way. Oh my god, that's how you turn him evil. You say life finds a way, but it's actually death, Hephe. Death always finds a way.
Oh.
I mean, both are true.
Life is but a prolonging of suffering. It's a delay. Death is the final answer.
Well, I you know what I think? I think life is like a hurricane here in Duckvale.
Okay.
I love
With
it.
that-
This is monsters, airplanes. It's a.
With that, why
I
don't
like
we
how
get
we
to,
almost started and then just immediately went completely off track.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, why don't we get started and talking about how we're going to be encountering it that approaches from the depths.
Comes from the depths.
Just for the sake of recording and stream, does anyone want to recap last session?
I kind of interrupted Fluke doing it.
I mean, I was huge to ask me, what story are you telling today? And I'm like, the fight we just had, because there's plenty of bluster to come from that.
That's fair. But you can
Like, he'll make
continue
some
on
shit
that.
up if he has to, but awesome stuff just happened.
Tell us more.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
So Fluke,
Regale us. Inspire
Clau,
us.
can you tell us what happened last session?
Okay,
Remind.
let's see. I'm trying to remember where we exactly started, because the mine expedition so far, I'm pretty sure we were still on topside when we started. We got ourselves a guide.
No, we started with you screaming.
Oh yeah. That was the okay, roll an athletics check. I'm like, I will, and I know it's gonna go badly, but you can't make Fluke eat shit on the rope. He knows how to scale ropes like a boss. So it's as soon as he hits the water, and it was a low roll, so it's just like
It was literally as soon
scaling
as
a
he hit
rope.
the water.
It was like literally scaling a rope like a mountain climber, looking like he's about to break into a building. Dips toe in. So we interacted with more ghosts, but these ghosts we didn't mess with that much because we decided we'd going. Then we ran into evil robot sharks from as far as we could tell. Killed a bunch of them. We walked both on water and underwater for a while. And that was just a nice little trek, and we were basically making plans through halfling telekinesis, as well as just kind of observing our surroundings. And
Yep.
it just so happens that at the same time they were sending the familiars forward to scout out things and noticed, oh, there's a swarm coming, was the time where Fluke's like, we'll probably get a better heading if we can surface again. I'm gonna try and figure that out. Those kind of collided, and it's like, well, let's get the frick out of here. And so we hopped back up, swam our way to shore, and take much damage, thankfully. And then we better interacted with ghosts. Which many people had different feelings on the fact. Mostly because it's like, these people have been tortured for probably way too long of a time. And it was a political thing, so it's hard to say who's right. And it's been over like 1,000 years or so, or at least near that. Might as well say 1,000. But they're also kind of assholes to a degree, probably just because they're dwarves and that's how they roll. And then we were kind of figuring out, well, what are we going to do? And it's just kind of like, and Decorm's like, well, fuck these guys. And Hephe's like, well, I still want to help them. And plus, what else are we going to do but try and get to this crystal and stop the sharks? And it's like, what else can we really do? These sharks are freaking terrifying, and we don't want our souls to be trapped in a cavern for eternity.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. Fluke's main argument was we should probably still save them, and if they were that much of an asshole, they'll get sent to a circle of hell, so fine.
That's fair.
The Hephe's perspective, too, is that they knew about spirits, so maybe they have more information about spirits in there.
Didn't we have some horrifying abomination schlupping in through the shadows as well?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, well,
that
we're
was
getting there.
happening. This was a roll for initiative as soon as we start kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also, Fluke also summoned a raven named Vivi.
Yeah, so with that,
Call it V.
I'm gonna put you on the map.
I'm rude. I'm
Uh-oh.
rude like that.
So with that, roll for fucking initiative, plebs.
Well, wait for it.
I forgot about that a lot.
I did
Oh,
forget
hey,
about
look
that.
at that. Oh. Do we have no light going on, huh?
I mean, if you want, because you did just camp here, so if you want to say you had like a fire somewhere while talking, then we could add one.
No, it's
Well,
it's
we
good
were
to keep
talking
the light
about that,
on
but we
because
were
it's
wondering
very
if we had
scary.
anything to burn.
Okay, 3 people were talking,
We
so...
didn't.
What did you say, Sherry?
That it's okay. I was making a joke that it's good to keep the light off because the thing is very scary.
Oh, that's fair.
I was saying we were talking about doing a fire, but I don't think we figured out anything to burn. Did we ever figure out anything to burn?
Do
That's
you think
specifically what we
Hephe has
didn't.
his lantern thing? Because it's
yeah,
magical.
the lantern. So the lantern.
Yeah,
will
we
be
didn't have
out.
fire.
Yeah,
Sorry.
let's light that up. I want to see.
I mean, I could see just fine. But I'm
Uh,
cobalt, so you know.
It was 2020 for the
Oof.
things, right? For the torches, right? I think so. We're just gonna go with that.
I love that that is Fluke's dead average.
Yeah, torches do 2020.
Okay.
Mine fucking
Then
4,
should be the
dude.
same
I
with
rolled off.
lantern.
I would assume so.
And now you can probably just barely see the creature.
Oh, I can.
I can't from my perspective, but
Why is it so close?
Because it, like, the first moment you heard it, it was like slowly sort of crawling towards you. And we ended the session when you suddenly saw, like, this mass coming at you.
Okay, I'm scared.
Jerry.
And I need that.
Swear to God, Jerry.
I'll keep you alive. Don't worry.
I
My
have a new toy.
cleric.
His dex is better than I thought it was.
Oh, wow, yeah. That's a good roll.
Hmm?
Good roll for Chair. That's a good roll for Ralgo.
Yeah, 19 on the die. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Undead horror. That's a very undescriptive and yet very descriptive all at the same time.
It's undead and it's horrifying.
Yeah.
What
What
more
more
do
do you
you
want?
Oh,
So-
it's dexterity? Is it what?
Huh?
Undead horror of initiative of 2?
Yeah. Its dexterity is better than I thought it was, and it is a +0.
That's better than he thought. It's not a negative, and for an undead, that's saying something.
Okay.
Are shambling. You don't see many high speed zombies, that's for sure.
So, as this creature is crawling slowly towards you, Hephe, what you do?
Guys, I see it, and I'm gonna start. How much movement do I have again? I think it's 40. Oh wait, Porcelain didn't roll. She goes
Then
first.
in that case, Porcelain,
Not
you
bad.
react slightly faster than Hephe.
Well, what the fuck is it?
Undead horror.
An undead horror. Don't have anything that does radiant damage, unfortunately. Alright, so I suppose we'll do the next best thing.
Lightning.
You gotta
Very,
say, I'm
very
gonna assume force.
frightening.
Exactly.
Hephe Silver Blossom. Hephe Silver Blossom. Hephe Silver Blossom, go.
Blossom.
I'm gonna move over here. Oh yeah, that's a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that sure is a big one. Mm-hmm.
You guys are scaring me with the way you
Make
say
sure.
this.
Make sure I'm within within range.
I mean, I can see a quarter of it.
I can see a little itty bitty line.
Okay, 30 feet.
There's a
Yeah,
lot more
I
than
am
that
just
line.
within range. Fucking
Yeah.
sweet. Because we shouldn't touch
Oh, you
things if
really
we
can
don't
see.
know what they are.
Nope.
A 15, you think you hit it, but then as the spell does its effect as well as the lightning spreads, you notice that you've kind of hit this unliving part of blubber, and it doesn't really seem to hurt the creature at all.
Resistant.
No, it's
No.
just below its AC, so it's like an
Yeah, I know.
dead part of it. Just to be
All
sure.
right. Well, that's all I got, folks.
Righty,
Next act.
Hephe, you're up.
5. 10. Oh god.
That's some good
15. Oh, that's worse.
Because you see one mouth and then you see another.
Yeah.
You see one mouth, and then you see another. Now that is a quote of the day.
Beautiful.
It is.
15-foot radius. Yeah, let's put that aura on. 15 foot.
He's enacting his defense mechanisms.
So I cast Spiritual Guardians.
I assumed.
God, please kill my enemies.
5, 10, 15.
God, I don't want to fuck with this.
20. Alright, so it's within range, so it needs to make its thing.
Wisdom, right?
Yes, I
That's
believe.
a
Let me
nine.
cast. Oh well, that's a failure. So let's hope it's good damage.
Ooh.
That's
It is.
a lot better
Definitely
considering like
good
last
like
session
that.
I rolled like 2s and 3s entirely, so I'll take that.
Yeah.
Radiant,
Close
of
enough
course.
to that.
Yeah. You see your vines sprawl up, and some of the snake, just full snakes basically that are growing from it, start biting and gnawing at your vines. But as they do so, you see their teeth and their mouths burning every time they try to bite your vines.
Okay. And I'm gonna shout out because I think this gives it difficult terrain when it's inside of it, or is it not the case?
An affected creature's speed is halved in the area.
In the area. Okay, so it is difficult terrain. So I'm gonna say, I got it slowed down. Hit it from far away, and I'm gonna end my turn.
Okay. Then Fluke, you're up.
Okay. pondering who else. But oh yeah, there are multiples going on with that. Little too far away to do anything. Yeah, I think for now I will just use my action to cast Bless on myself, Ezra, and Decorm.
Okay.
Ooh. That's the hard part. Now that we have Porcelain, I have to make decisions like who's getting it this time? Who's going to be rolling the most attack? One of them is obviously
is on the
going to be
character sheet. Now I'll just roll d4. Anyway.
I have a bonus action.
You do.
Screw it. I'll try getting around this corner and hiding for it. It could probably sense me. I don't know. But best to try and get advantage on the next turn if no one's close to it. So I'll roll with stealth.
Yeah. Okay. You
and that'll be
definitely feel like maybe it can see you or sense you, but you definitely feel like the rest of the group is making enough attention to grabbing enough attention to itself that it will probably forget about you.
Now it's Ezra at the corner.
Yeah, sorry. If that's your turn, then it's Ezra's turn.
Okay, making
Has
sure.
Bless, I moved and I hid.
5, 10, 15. Sees that. Says, okay. Does not move any further and instead pulls out the longbow and is going to... Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to just add, longbow twice.
That's
One.
very fair.
Ah!
30
Bless
misses.
help that.
18 hits.
I can do the D for the. I'm gonna do the D4 on the 13.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
I don't suppose 16 hits.
16, just barely similar to at Porcelain. You just hit a piece of blubber and it's technically stuck in it, but it doesn't really do much against it. Second one, you aim more like one of the creature's many faces that are moving around, and you shoot one of them right in the jaw.
Okay, so we know it has a 17 or an 8 in AC. In that case, I'm going to roll damage. I'm going to I'm going to spend a key point to do another die of the same one using Death Strike.
Oh, okay, son.
Okay, so you can roll another d8 then?
Yeah, so it's just
Nice.
a D8, so it's 4 damage,
Oh.
not 9.
So 17.
Yeah, 4 damage. And then I'm going to where it can say shot it to do another D4 of damage. Since I don't have anything else to do with my bonus action.
Finally, get on there.
I hit it once, but I do damage.
Once,
13,
it's 18.
18 damage total?
Yeah.
So yeah. Thunk. And then I'm gonna move 5 and 10 feet back. 'Cause I see that and I look at Fluke and I'm like, oh my god.
Decorm, you're up.
I mean, that's why I
Alright.
said hit it from afar.
Decky feels like you should be somewhat heroic in this moment.
Oh,
So
boy.
he's gonna run towards it while casting Shield of Fate. Yes, that's
Alright.
a thing.
Yes, that shield. The one of fate. Shimmering shield surrounds your creature. Plus, oh, nice.
AC bonus.
So I imagine, like, as he does the same golden translucent thing that happens with his ears, sort of like starts billowing. He basically gets a magic wizard robe. His noble
Nice.
clothing becomes like all feathery and flashy, and he's just standing there like, "Rawr."
It's just fancier mage armor.
I have an action. What do I want to do with that action? Kinda feel I wanna dodge. Yes, I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay, you're gonna take the dodge action?
Yes.
Cool. Then it is its turn. And I believe it's still in Hefe's range, so roll your damage thing.
Lines of Doom.
This time 17 on the saving throw.
Oh shit! I was blessed. Well, doesn't matter.
Wait, make a save. So
does
only
make a save,
8. That.
I'm not sure if Radiant makes sense, but
Well, it's one of those things where it's
Definitely
immune
not
or
resistant.
resistant to a lot of things, but not radiant as well.
gotcha. Makes sense. Higher level CR stuff gets that way, where
Yeah.
they're not really damaged by things; they're just
Not
baked with full
immune.
damage. Yeah.
Is that radiant damage? Shit, I'm not immune to that. You're not weak to it? Oh no, I'm not that. I'm not a bitch.
It just hurts normal.
So from Hephe, Porcelain, and Decorm, the three of you notice that the arrow that Ezra shot, the hole that it left is almost like fully grown at this point back as it's regenerating.
Oh.
And math.
Math.
But just his one arrow shot, right? Not all of the
Yeah.
damage.
No.
Okay.
That arrow shot is healing. And well, at this point, Decorm, you're kind of blocking its movement.
Kind of the
Thanks,
plan.
Decky.
Yeah. So he's just gonna do his 4 attacks on you.
Oh.
So
Oh boy.
first,
With disadvantage, because it's
yeah,
dodge.
with disadvantage. So first,
Let's
as you are standing there, one of the like lizard-like creatures that it has a face of just rips at you and starts trying to bite you. And that's a 20 to hit.
Sis?
And after that, that's first attack. Then second, it's gonna try the snakes that were first biting at Hefe's vines are coming at you. Okay, that is the dual natural 1.
Woohoo!
So, not make an attack of opportunity.
Yeah!
Dual net 1 is like another level of natural ones.
It really is.
I have very epic musical right now, so this I'm living my fantasy.
Good. You deserve
Except-
it.
I just have
Where
basic
my-
cave music. You're right.
my
I should
internet-
change that.
Where my internet
They
is, so
run, or
yes,
whatever.
okay. I was holding the Warhammer.
27 definitely hits.
Nice.
12.
Nice.
And Warhammer isn't magical though, right?
Plus
It's
one.
the X that's magical.
Yes.
Okay, so then
That's fair.
that's
I don't remember if the +1 was from Teak's.
was it from the Viscount's office?
I think so.
Then it's a masterwork, so it's not magical.
Not magical, but I had it a couple of times with Teak's artificer thing of it. Then it was magical, so it is a +1, but not magical.
Okay,
Yeah.
Confusing when the artificer
that is maybe a good thing. What Ralgo was suggesting. Okay, that's that attack. Then it has another. This time, what looks to you like sort of a lion type creature, but not like just slightly off. Just rams at you as if it's using it as a fist.
Don't kiss me,
That's a
daddy.
22 to hit.
Misses.
So, prepared for it, you just step out of the way, and you notice like the for those who see One Piece, like the Luffy sponges that just stretch out and then just snap back, as it were.
Also, just imagine it's just the Shield of Faith force field, just like pow pow.
And then lastly, its biggest mouth opens, and you see this like greenish energy coming from it as it just blasts out a bunch of acid, and
Knew it!
Porcelain is just outside the range, so Hephe and Decorm make a dexterity saving throw.
Do it.
Also with advantage because of dodge, right?
If
dodge
that's how
works, I
dodge
forget.
works, I'm not sure.
I think it does.
Dodge 5e. Everyone goes
Oh,
to
really?
Google. Yeah.
One Googles it.
Yeah.
Nice. Besides advantage, you also get to add a D4, Hephe. Or Decorm.
Ooh, that was a
I don't
good
think you need-
advantage.
I
That
don't think
was
Hephe
a-
needs it either.
Both of you make the saving throw. But you still take... No, I'm just gonna roll it on the thing, because otherwise I'm gonna spend all this time.
Mathing.
Yeah. Both of you take 20 points of acid damage.
Oh.
That's half.
And that's half.
That's half.
Woof. Yeah,
Ooh.
that's why I agree with Hephe. That's a lot of dice. Like we heard you rolling and just that's a lot of dice.
And
Well, as soon as
both,
he said
yeah,
that, he didn't
constitution
want to
saving
math.
throws.
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
alright. No more
Oh,
Shield
no.
of Fate.
Alright, so how does
Okay.
concentration?
He
Is it
burned
half
away your
damage?
shield.
Is concentration
still get-
saving throws, is it half the damage or 10, whichever one's more,
Yeah.
or is it the full
So
damage?
It's
Yeah,
both
it's
10.
10.
Half the damage.
Yeah, it's 10.
Okay,
anyway.
it's half damage, so it's still just 10.
Did you get Warcaster yet? Wasn't that what you were working towards?
I do have Warcaster, yeah.
Ooh.
So you have advantage on that.
Let's go. Let's
Good.
go.
That definitely
Oh,
makes...
Didn't
Okay.
Yeah, and now I'm working on the resilient feat, so that way I can have a proficiency in Constitution saving throws, because I think
Nice.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good combo. I've worked towards that before too. That's what Lafayette was working towards.
With that, we're back at Porcelain, as this creature can't move right now and doesn't have any bonus actions.
I should hope it doesn't have any bonus actions after 4 attacks. And a breath weapon. Ah!
You walked
Just
into
defeat this 20th
So-
level fighter.
Well, after seeing Spray y'all, like, oh, boy, that was a lot of
Man.
dice. So he got you at 15 feet away. Matt.
Doing mad battle math.
Alrighty then. So for this round, no, we'll wait till I get closer. We're going to move up at 20 feet.
I imagine she can see the
Right.
range
Here.
of the, Ooh.
And we're gonna do Dragon's Breath.
Alrighty.
Nice.
And we're gonna
What
do
element, though?
fire.
Okay.
For a dexterity save. This thing doesn't look very dexterous.
And yeah, it's rolled an 8, so it takes 9 points fire damage.
Yep. See if it's got
Okay.
resistance.
Blah, blah. Oh wait, 9, that's easy. With the fire damage, Porcelain, you notice the wounds that were healing like seem to crisp for a bit before they can start healing again. Is that your turn?
Fire's good.
So this is a fireball thingy.
Yes. Actually, I think I'm gonna move back 10 feet. So I think that puts me where Hefe's at least.
It is gonna make an attack of opportunity at you then.
It still has that.
14, so I don't imagine that hits.
Nope.
That honestly still works out for what I wanted to do, so great.
Then it's Hefe's turn.
All right. So how much damage does it look like it's taking? Does it look like it's pre-messed up, or is it
It looks up and ready to go.
Okay.
Imagine. Big boy.
Like even without the regeneration, it hasn't taken that much damage yet.
Gotcha. And I'm thinking I might as well just stay where I am. No, I'm gonna stay where I am. I think where I am makes the most sense. So I'm just gonna stay where I am. Look at my spells real quick. I think I'm just gonna cast because it's still got a lot. So I'm gonna cast Spiritual Weapon.
All right.
That should not be with advantage, but it didn't matter.
That definitely hits.
That's a level 2 spell.
Put them there.
That's a bonus action. So that means I still have my action remaining.
Do you have any ranged cantrips yet?
No, unfortunately I don't. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run up to it.
Oh yeah, it doesn't have an opportunity to attack.
Can that spiritual weapon go up one?
Oh, yeah. You should be able to move it, right? Or?
I can't move it.
Okay, I need to fix it at some point.
So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna cast Word of Radiance.
Right.
Okay.
6.
Wow, there's 14. So
it takes 6 points of radiant damage.
All right.
I'm gonna move back. Mine 10 feet, so I still have 20 feet removing. Do I take an attack of opportunity? It doesn't have multiple reactions or anything like that.
It does not have multiple reactions.
Okay, then I'm gonna be smart boy because I've had Spiritual Guardians for a while. I'm gonna run away from it. I'm gonna run back into it, so that way it takes Spiritual Guardians damage as well.
Are you a smart boy?
I'm combat trained, right?
No, I get that, but I'm not sure if I'd allow that for how, because what's to stop you from using all of your movement to just bash it in against it and over again, as it were.
It is one of those.
So I'm not gonna have
Enters
that work.
the area for the first time on a turn.
When the creature enters the area for the first time on a turn, or starts its turn there.
So yeah, it can only be done once a turn. So that's what stops it. It can only be done once a turn.
Yeah, but
Not
this
a
is
round.
still on its turn.
It's not. It doesn't say round. It says turn.
But you know what? Yeah.
So it's whatever you want to roll. Slumperd.
Yeah,
You're
so
DM.
I'm not gonna count it for that. Like when you cast it, it deals damage, or when it enters later. But then it needs to be its own movement as well.
Okay, then I'll not do that. I guess I just plant my hooves and my turn.
Okay, then it's your fluke.
Yes. Worm around. Having to change from ruler to grab. Then saunter on besides Decorm. And then I'm going to make a pack tactic strike against it.
All right.
Use some of my new toys, which is also great. Okay. Doop.
There we are. That definitely hits.
Well, this is gonna be...
That's a lot of damage.
That's gonna be loud.
This is gonna be
Yeah.
fun and probably very necessary for this monster. So let's roll.
Woohoo!
And that extra is the thunder damage because rogues only have one attack, so I have no reason to never be, never be.
Yeah, that's
booming
for
blade.
what's it called? Booming blade, right?
Booming blade.
Yeah.
Yep. Booming blade. So
Okay.
that is that. Have to do more math.
22, 29, 32, no, 39, And 53 points of damage.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Oh,
When Fluke
that
gets a nat
20
20,
rolls
it's
is
nice.
Like Christmas.
That makes it.
Welcome to rogue life.
So as Fluke runs up and it starts like it's getting ready to strike at Decorm again, Fluke just jumps in and takes that opportunity and just stabs one head like right through its eyes and just bashes forwards and strikes another head also through its eyes. And as you then pull back, the two heads like wiggle for a moment and then fall to the ground. And the creature is now starting to look very rough.
I was not expecting that at 20, but I am in no way complaining.
No, you shouldn't.
And next he will land by Decorm and say, "Hey, he's already used his attack of opportunity. Make him come to you." And he's gonna back up a little bit.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, I was about to say.
It means lay into him and then back up.
You're weird, but thank you.
I know. And since I have a bonus action, I think I'm just gonna bonus action dash. Not even gonna use my full movement, but you know, acid and things. And
All right.
that'll be my turn. Very, very good turn.
Oh, you don't want to get a lot of acid again?
Ezra is up.
Granted, I have evasion, so it probably wouldn't hit me, but why take the chance? Oh, well, yeah, never mind. Good
No,
enough.
I haven't done anything. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna mention I was gonna do that thing with the sword where when I land a hit, I use a point to give it disadvantage on its next attack rolls.
Okay, you can, definitely.
Okay. I would not have complained if you said my turn was over, but hey,
Yeah,
I did plan
it's
to do
part
that.
of your attack, and the Ezra hadn't gone yet, so it's fine.
Is it all attacks or just the first attack?
The first attack.
Okay. So can he do the acid breath first?
Well, I don't think
Or
it
can-
rolls
It's a
for
saving
that.
throw, so that's not how that
Yeah.
works.
3 is 15.
That nice spell you're
And then-
sitting in all.
Hold on. Actually, that would be.
Well, I will say it does say on attack rolls, but if you know that is it's your item. It's definitely your call.
25.
Okay, check.
So she's at 25 feet. She's moved. And then before I do attacking and stuff, I'm going to let Slumperd check that.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's on attack roll, so it's its entire turn. All of its attacks have disadvantage.
Yes!
Good sword.
Alrighty. Asri is going to roll up and punch.
All right.
Well, punch and then longsword. But where is my unarmed strike? And then
That hits.
longsword.
That also hits.
And then I would like
Awesome
to, I don't know if I'm
touch
using 1 key point or 2, but I would like to stunning strike it.
Okay. Let's just roll the first one. That's a natural 20 on the saving throw.
So I guess I'm using 2 key points.
Second one. Also a natural 20 on the saving throw. Just 2 different
Cool.
dice.
He was pissed after that hit.
Yeah.
That's from the unarmed strike. This is from the longsword. So that's 23 points of damage. I guess
Yeah, 3, so
that ends
Alrighty.
that, and then I will just bonus action 1 unarmed strike, not flurry of blows.
Okay.
Oh, that's a 3. I know that's not
That
gonna hit.
misses. You
Yep.
feel like your fist getting surrounded by this piece of blubber, and you put your hand back.
And then I still have, since I know it's gone, I'm gonna go 30, 35, 40.
Oh, thank
Alrighty.
God.
It's the
And-
Corm's turn. I
Okay.
believe.
I'm gonna take 1 step back and do what I wanted to do this morning, but then this
Oh.
thing showed up. And in this moment, I'm just gonna say, Miss Pool Lady, I hope you can help. and I'm gonna use my channel divinity to change make me resistant to acid.
All right.
And with that, everybody in 10 feet of me. So that should, if he does that thing, save us a lot of damage.
Wow.
As we go.
And as I do that, the white spots in my skills become this same acidy green that he used in his breath. And as I'm still standing in front, I'm gonna use another bonus action to Shield of Fate, I think. Yes, let's do that.
All the shields.
There. So that's action, bonus action, movement. That's me.
Okay. Then it's its
it's
turn.
it.
What were you gonna say, Flip?
So now it's its turn.
It can, because its movement is halved in the area. So roll your damage, Hephe. As this is its total movement for.
Also,
Yes.
now I need to ask an important question. If I deal Booming Blade on a crit, is the next attack also critted? I would think not, but now's the time to ask.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
that's fair.
So that is 6 and 13. Okay, let's actually roll that saving throw. Wisdom. Nope. This creature has rolled 3 natural 1s and 2 natural 20s.
Heaven or
I feel
hell.
like you're using rainbow barf.
That's that, and the 6 you just get. So, all right, it is starting to look very rough. As it is still its turn, it has disadvantage on all of its attacks, but it doesn't really understand that. Let's see who's in range. Hephe is in range. Most of you are actually in range. Okay, so it is gonna first make a constricted attack against Hephe, as these crawly vines are coming from you and they're annoying. That's disadvantage.
Oh no.
Nothing to do.
Grabby vines.
Is it 20 to hit?
A 20 will hit.
Okay. And you take. What's that? You take 16 points of bludgeoning damage, and you are grappled as these group of snakes start crawling around you.
Okay, 16 points of damage, grappled, Constitution saving throw with advantage. I succeed.
And for its second attack, it's gonna make that at porcelain, also with the constrict. That is a 15 to hit.
Missiles.
Alrighty. And it's gonna try and ram Decorm. Another one of those lion heads. Okay, that's gonna miss because that's a 19 to hit.
Nope.
And it does not get its breath back. So it's gonna make another ram attack.
Oh, it's a recharge, nice.
That's a 20 to hit on Decorm.
Misses.
Which misses, yeah. Alright. Then it is Porcelain's turn.
She
And
get one
see
of those?
there, you've come right to me, and I do firebolt.
That hits.
All right. Cantrip? What? Do the damage. Cast at what level? Oh, I'm...
What?
This is supposed to be a cantrip. Whatever, I'll just roll 2d10.
Not rolling properly.
No.
Decent
Well.
damage.
12. That. Alright. And again, the same thing. You aim where Fluke just hit multiple of its heads that seem to start regenerating, but then once the fire hits, it starts singeing and the regeneration stops for a moment.
Righto, and since that was a cantrip, I'm gonna move closer next to Decorum. And bless you.
Thank you.
And
How dare
I'm
you
gonna
sneeze?
stab it. It does a 13 hit.
Misses.
I wish I gave you the bliss.
Yeah.
Then again, a 13 probably wouldn't have.
Well, no, it would have made it a 17 and I would have got it. Or
If you
possibly.
would
1 in
rolled
4
high.
chance.
Yeah, if I'm fortunate. Alright, well, that would be all, folks.
Okay. Hephe, you're up.
Okay, I'm gonna bonus action swing with my spiritual weapon.
That's fair.
Not with advantage, so let's turn that off. Nat 20 feels
That
good.
hits.
Feel good, yeah.
21.
I feel
Max
like we're getting all our.
damage. What the heck? Yes, please.
Nice.
This thing is scary, but I
Beautiful.
also feel like we're using all our luck, and when it comes to the sharks, we're gonna be screwed.
I mean, you guys are
You're
kind
not
of at the top
wrong.
of your game right now.
Yeah, we're not going into the shark waters. We're going into the dungeon to turn off the shark waters, I thought.
I thought
Um,
the switch
dungeon
was
was on the
under the
other side of-
water.
No, the
Yeah, I thought
crystal's
that-
under
that we
the
had to-
water.
Ah.
Oh.
Crystal's under the water. We go to the dungeon to turn off the shark so that way we can go underwater. I'm going to move 10 feet. At least that's the way I
You
understood
can't
it.
move your grapples.
I am grappled. I can't move. I think I
If
was there.
only you were grappled.
Yeah,
Though
that's
if you're
very well.
grappled and you want to health, I could assume you can.
Yeah, I can do anything. I just can't do Word of Radiance. That's what I was hoping to be able to do. But with that, am I allowed to? I've used my bonus action for spiritual weapon. Healing Word is a bonus action. Can I use that as my action, or is it a bonus action only? And I can't I know you can't make an action into a bonus action. I'm just curious, can you make a bonus action into a full action?
I'm gonna say yes, but maybe that at some point I'll look that up and then go to no.
Feel
Okay.
like
For
that's
now,
something
yes.
you could do, but I'm not sure.
Alright, I think the only person that's actually taken any kind of damage so far, if I'm looking at my friends, is Decorum.
So far.
Yeah, you and Decorum have definitely taken the heaviest of the blows.
Okay, so I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds. I can actually touch him. He's right next to me, so I'm gonna cast
Yeah.
Cure Wounds instead. And then we
Okay.
don't even have to worry
Much
about
better.
the mechanic.
Yeah.
So Cure Wounds at the first level. So
He's
you
back up to
heal.
full.
Just
for-
imagine Hephe pulling his hand out. Like, Decorum, come here, come a little bit closer for a moment. Thank you.
That brings me back to full.
And
Nice.
then that
69.
also because
So
I
that's
am a blessed healer. Whenever you cast a spell of first level or higher that restores hit points to a creature other than you, you regain hit points equal to 2 plus the spell's level. So it was a first
Nice.
level spell, so I gained 3 HP. Woo!
Nice.
That's a good ability,
Yeah.
just
it's-
mechanic-wise.
Yeah, and then I will end my turn because I've done everything that I
Okay.
can.
Look, you're up.
Give you a couple of guesses what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run up and stab it.
Usual perks.
Yeah. Backflip and stab this thing in its head.
Which one of his heads?
Good
Under three hits?
question.
That is 12. 30. Okay, that's an annoying number.
Right? It's like, why the map? It's gonna end in a 4, I'll tell you.
7. Yeah, but also with the amount of damage it took, I need to calculate. So
Oh yeah, it might be resistant to thunder or...
Who knows? He'll find out and tell us.
all right. With that hit, as you stab it, you notice that though it seems to still be it's still definitely moving and crawling around, as it were. It does seem to somehow have less control over its various body parts as it's trying to do that. In that, the areas that you wounded haven't so much destroyed those pieces, but more take away its control over its various body pieces.
Sheridan. Gross. Okay, well, kind of back up. Farther away.
How far are you?
That'll be it for now.
Okay, it will take its attack of opportunity.
Can't, because I'm a swashbuckler.
Oh yeah, that's true. Then it's Ashley's turn.
Azri's gonna go 5, 10, and 15 this way. And hey, having to decide if she wants to, what she wants to do. And it's gonna be that longer bow.
Okay.
And then, thank you. And
That
then
hits.
2. That does not load
That
out.
misses. You can try bless, right? You're blessed.
Yeah, because let's see if that's a 17. Come on. Nope. I know a 14 ain't
Nope.
gonna do shit.
18 hits.
With that 18, we are going to use a Kensei shot to add on to it. So we're gonna bap. We're 13. And then
Nice.
17.
Nice.
And I'm gonna ask,
17.
can I actually, I forgot to ask earlier, is this a situation where I could sneak attack it because it's in melee with one of my allies, or no, because it's too big for that?
No, that's only for flanking. This is sneak attack. That still works.
Making sure.
Yep.
Then I will
Well, that's
roll
sneak
the D6. One whole extra
Aw.
damage.
We're doing so good on having max damage and everything.
So great. It would be
Yeah,
great if it was
it
another
was.
6. But yeah, that I believe is going to then 20, 25, and no, 30 behind the Hephe. Kind of keeping formation.
And
I think it's large. It can swallow me whole.
with that, it's Decorm's turn.
Okay. I'm gonna try and at this point I just wanted to be dead. I'm done being thanky.
Done playing
I want-
nice.
Yeah.
You should be
All
dead by
right,
now.
this
This is
isn't
no longer fun.
anymore.
I want to
Exactly.
speak to your necromancer. Go get him.
I swear to
Stop.
God.
That hits.
Yeah. No, too late.
Huh?
I wanted to smite, but I was too late.
Okay, if you say it's so. Then
Well, is it not
that.
too late?
Well, usually, like smite, you can say after you've hit, and he hadn't rolled damage yet when he was thinking about it. So, but when that first hit, you smash it into like its largest maw in the middle of it, and after that, the one it shot its acid breath out of. After that, it like kind of like slurries almost for a moment, and then reforms itself with difficulty, and it starts moving again. I believe you have a second attack.
Yeah, let's try this. Fuck me. That's not fucking. So,
It's-
just for sure, I'm gonna put a smite in that.
Sure,
First level. Is it an undead or a fiend?
it is definitely undead.
Is the undead horror undead?
Decorm doesn't know that.
That's true. Well, you
I
did
know.
smell it as a as an undead creature.
I was giving.
Alrighty.
That was a good smite.
How does Decorum want to do this?
Yeah! Steal.
No, I'd say you ran up there first.
You finished it on before it could do anything. That's not a kill steal. That's a perfect turn economy.
I'm
Then
gonna
you could-
say that's learning a little bit from Fluke. And be standing there and countering all those attacks. He just steps forward, anticipates the movement of this thing, so and the slowness that he's been seeing. So the first hand tries to happen, and he just does a little wiggle with his hip to the left, and then the other one a little with a wiggle to his hip, like completely cool, exactly calculated, avoids every attack, and then just downward, almost like golf buff on his chin, and then hit his entire head upwards, and then it probably buffs on the floor.
For a moment, just by the sheer power of that last hit from Decorm, you feel like that creature like lifts like slightly a little bit off the ground as it's like slurries back, and it starts kind of like forming this large black pool with different body parts laying dead in it. As the creature is no more.
Nice.
And with that, we're also out of initiative. But I can't find the turn order thing. There you are.
Okay, so what the fuck was that, and why the fuck was that?
I want to touch it. I'm going to touch it.
Ew.
I'm gonna poke
Seems
it.
ill-advised.
That's not ill. It's just it's a thing, okay?
Chonkers is
Touched
gonna go
you.
see if he can recover any of the 4 arrows that Asri shot over there.
I'm gonna say the ones that hit you can recover.
So 2, okay.
And Decorm, as you are touching it, is there anything specific you want to do? Or any abilities you have?
I just would like to look at it and see if I can get anything of valuable, anything that looks like I could sell it to these wildland people.
Make an investigation check.
Investigation. I was about to say, are you sure it's not survival? And then I thought, I'm worse at survival. I'm worse at survival.
Don't say that. Oh.
Doesn't
No.
matter.
With a 5, you go through it and you notice that, like, though it's kind of like pooling as if it's liquid, once you touch it, it's still like very much extremely sticky and gross. And you kind of like look at the edges if there's anything of value there, but you figure that's probably not there.
Honestly, guys, this is the grossest thing I've ever seen. It's pretty fun.
Out of curiosity, I have talk properly. I got investigation as something I'm proficient in. Can I give it a shot?
Of course.
See if there's anything good about this horrific thing, and did I just roll for advantage?
That's
Yeah, it's
9,
9.
right? Yeah. So with that, you go through it and you're slightly like less concerned about the grossness of it all, and you think like, shall I look deeper into it? But you decide like, let's scan it first, and kind of in the middle of where the pool is, you see this sphere covered in this same sticky liquid laying.
Oh, I found a weird icky sphere.
I mean, it's still like at this point you see it. You still have to go and grab it. I swear.
Ooh!
Yeah, well, we all know I got Fine Familiar and Booming Blade. My other cantrip was Mage Hand. Can I use that right now?
You definitely can.
Choice.
Yeah, I think it's a while. It's just like, okay, let me try this, and he's gonna try and grab it and pull it out with the Mage Hand.
Well, it's always great to be able to touch something without touching it.
Yes.
I never thought I would see one of those things in real life.
Technically, you don't.
A mage hand?
No. The thingy-majiggy, the globe thingy.
A floating orb?
It's not float. It was just laying on the ground. But
Well, it's floating now as I pull it closer.
oh, that's true.
towards it.
Can you
I was
post Mage Hand
asking
in
for
the
it.
chat, Fluke?
I can do that. Yes. Weighs more than 10 pounds. We're gonna have a problem.
The 10 or 5?
No, there it is.
Oh, 10, yeah.
3 nights and blah blah blah. Okay, I'm gonna say an intelligence check as the hand starts pooling, and it is a fairly large sphere. It's like the size of a soccer ball, as it were. And as you start like trying to lift it, you do feel like the hand can lift it, but since it's still like sticking to the ground and everything, it's kind of difficult to get it off there.
Well, this is probably not gonna go well. Okay, never mind.
Okay, with that, you manage to, after a couple of thugs, scoop it up and as it does so, a lot of the sticky stuff remains on the ground, and you see this like red surface where the liquid isn't there anymore. I'd like everyone with dark vision to roll a perception check.
Sweet.
Even if
You
it's
have that.
in my light radius?
Oh yeah, actually everyone can roll a perception check. I forgot about light.
Okay.
I want you to know, I just looked up what circle ball was. That actually looks pretty freaking fun.
Soccer ball, I said.
Soccer.
But I'm now very interested in what circle ball is. I'm gonna look that up in the break.
Oh, you said soccer. Oh, I straight heard circle ball. I'm like, what the fudge is that? And I'm like, oh my god, this is a game kids play? How did I miss out on this in my childhood?
Ezra, roll a perception check. I imagine you also want to do that.
Yes, I do. I just got distracted by circle ball.
That's
Perception.
very fair.
Does Bless
16.
help still at all, or has it been too long?
That's ability. That's not an ability check. You're thinking of guidance.
It's guidance.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Plus
Okay.
is for attack rolls and saving throws. which
Gotcha,
is really
gotcha,
nice.
gotcha.
So the two 16s, you notice that as the ball floats over the breast of the body, it kind of seems like a small like wave of the liquid stuff is following it. It's like barely noticeable
A
ripple,
magnet.
but it's there.
Okay, so before any of this stuff happened with the weird ass sphere and all that investigation, I wanted to roll a medicine check to see if it was trying to regenerate itself, even though it's like fallen apart and dead,
You
because
can
we saw that
definitely
it
try to
was
do that.
able to. So now that I also see that it's trying to pull itself towards that thing, I'm like doubly concerned and curious. So
Yeah, Asri
medicine
knocks an
check.
arrow into her bow, ready because to see if if any of that meat starts wrapping around that, an arrow's flying towards that thing.
That's a 26 on that medicine
With
check.
a 26 medicine, you definitely feel like this is similar to its regeneration it had before. You also definitely feel like the orb is like the center of that regeneration. And you also feel like it's gonna take a couple of days at this point to actually reform itself.
Do I get the feeling that if we remove that orb entirely, it won't be able to regenerate at all because that orb is the cause of it?
With a 26, I'm gonna say 26 is above. You figure that what will happen because of that ripple effect that still happens at some distance. It could be that if you take it far enough away, it stops, but it could also mean that it just like starts following you, as it were.
Okay.
Did we set it on fire?
Asri's waiting for the word.
I could also use my mage hand to wrap ropes around, and we could toss it into the water by tugging. Also, does anyone have a sack? Because I don't want to. I don't know what this thing is, but I don't want to touch it with my bare claws.
yeah. So the other
I do.
question,
What was Hephe trying to say?
Okay.
my other question was, you said that it was a red shine to it. I had a vision of a dwarf going after red crystals. Does it look the same shine
It
of red?
looks the same, but much larger. The crystal that you saw was a lot smaller.
But it seems to be more or less the same thing other than size?
Yeah, it seems to be the same material, but a larger version of it.
Oh, well, I'm really excited because that's definitely was one of my goals down here was try to find one of those things so that way I can figure out what the heck it is. Guys, I think that sphere, I think that's what the dwarves were looking for that I saw, but it's like way bigger than it was. Also, I think the thing's trying to grow itself again around that thing, and like it's trying to always be near it. So I'm not sure if we like take it far enough away, if it'll stop regenerating, or if it'll just like hunt us down after it's already regenerated.
We took it once,
Would
we
you
can take it again. Put the rest in fire, take this thing with us, let's make some dwarves happy.
You know, now I
Would
get to ask an
I-
interesting question. Can I, for this weird crystal thing, can I run a jeweler's tools check to figure out
sorry.
like its general composition or what the heck this thing might be?
Sure.
I was just gonna ask if identify would help.
What was you gonna do, Asray? I heard you trying to talk a couple times.
Identify, would that help?
I'd say the two of you make either both of you make an intelligence check or one of you make it with advantage.
I have a 13, so if yours is higher than that, go ahead with advantage.
Well, I have a +1, but I was thinking I was going to make a jeweler's tool check with intelligence, which would make it +4 technically.
Up to D.
Add proficiency on tool checks.
Is this less about the tools and more about knowledge?
Okay, so then let's just.
I'd say,
each
you know
roll our
what?
own
In that case, I'd
intelligence.
say Fluke make an intelligence check with advantage, and Ezra make a regular intelligence check.
Cool with that.
15, 16.
Yeah.
Magic.
It is definitely Fluke. You definitely know that it's not something you see in jewelry or anything. I'd say the two of you don't really know its name or its specific properties, but you do recognize it as a material that you've seen in your studies as something that very often arcane focuses are made out of. But when they make an arcane focus of it, it's like a very small bit of material of it. It's like basically like a D20's worth of material, and this one is obviously much bigger.
Yeah.
So wait, so people would technically use it in jewelry just as arcane focus jewelry.
Yeah.
They want.
Yeah,
I mean,
very sometimes
rich
you see it,
people.
but it is something you could use to recognize a wizard over just someone wearing some jewelry.
Yeah, so
Um,
nobles won't wear this, but a wizard might.
I have a stupid idea.
I was actually. Go ahead.
I'm all up for stupid ideas.
I don't know if it'll work. However,
You're gonna put it in pool health.
no.
Oh, interesting.
Can I just give us a 10-day head start?
Huh? I don't think that's a stupid idea.
I think that's
Okay,
the
let's guys,
I don't know why you
let me bust out my theory real quick as to what I think this is. I think that this isn't like a creature that this is its core, that right? I think that this undead horror is an amalgam of monsters and things that have become obsessed looking for those red stones, and the magic in here has possessed them to become undead, forming around it, like Uzumaki spiral style. I don't know how Asri would say that in her in D&D terms, but that is the current theory that I'm saying. Like, I think if we move it away from it at the very least, we may be able to get away from this one. I still think that it may cause some sort of obsession for those at some point, or some sort of things may come after us while we're down here for it. But I think gentle repose on that thing is a great fucking idea, to be like, no, these are just corpses now. No, I wrote it, the quote, Kubito, just be like,
One of my concerns is that it says that it can't become undead. It's already undead. So I'm not sure how that interaction works.
Well, if it's dead, then it's not undead. If we killed it, so I don't.
You can certainly try. That's all I'm gonna say for that.
Okay.
It's worth the 10 minutes while we're discussing this. Certainly.
I'm going to ritual cast it then and do that.
Okay.
How many copper pieces does it take? I don't know how many eyeballs it has.
A lot, especially if you start counting all the snakes. It's gonna be hundreds.
Stick with the big eyes. Let's do that.
How many big eyes?
Let's say. Wait, at least 2, 4, 6, 8.
throw
I'm gonna say
gold down.
20.
How much?
20.
20? Alright, I dropped 20 copper pieces to perform this ritual on him.
I mean, actually, -4 because Fluke stabbed a lot of eyes.
Okay, so I get
So
4 more. So I have 82
wrong.
copper remaining, guys.
Jeez, you have a fat sack of pennies.
Yes, I made sure I had 100 copper to
I have a
start.
fat sack of pennies. I love that.
Listen, I need change. Change is important.
Do you have any other monies?
Yeah, I have silver and gold and platinum.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
Just
Fluke's
the way you said that.
using the force to hold this thing in the air. Not to be a nag, but again, anyone got a sack? I'm not sure I want to touch this thing.
I do. Let me touch it. I'm gonna grab it.
Okay. No. You hold it. It feels slightly warm, and there's still a lot of this liquid on it that's still very nasty to touch.
It's
Ooh,
so
can I press the
gross.
digitate clean for him?
Please
Mucusy.
don't.
You said
I
don't?
like the
Please
slime.
don't.
I mean, I want to make sure
Okay.
it's what I think it is. Can you make sure it's nice and clean?
Okay.
Well, I can wait until Decorm's done if he likes the slime.
I will say, if we can't... Hopefully we can
No,
find something...
no. The slime is bad for my dress. Could you please clean it?
BAP! Cleaned.
Ah,
It is
amazing. Magic is
I
the
will
shit.
say, I hope we can do
I'm gonna
something
put it in my
valuable
bag.
with this. But if nothing else, I can make it into a bunch of necklaces and right material and sell them to some wizards.
Azri's gonna look around like,
Ooh,
I think,
homemade arcane focuses. Those are great.
has anyone else had a War Mage rubies? I think this might be what they're made from.
Have fun.
Have I heard?
Make
Have we?
arcane checks.
Okay. Bow. Nope.
I went to college.
I didn't think this was...
You sure
You
did,
didn't have to
bud.
go finish that class, though.
I
You
was in the
sure did,
boonies.
bud. And look where you are with the rest of us.
You have not heard of those.
Wow,
But
they're
roll
uncommon items, I'll give you that.
I'll roll just because jewelry, that makes sense.
It's
I'm not
one of those
proficient.
things like it's not weird, so like for someone to know of it, but it's also like a little bit
Yeah, we still have
specific
advantage
information.
on, but hey, that's an
Oh no, it's
18.
one of those. I love this. It's one of those uncommon items that they're gonna go around like. Have you guys ever heard of this? And like every jeweler's like, well, yeah, but it's gonna be in the Magic District, not here.
Yeah.
And it's just be like, yeah, of course we've heard of that.
So do I get
When
anything?
Undead
18,
don't
Fluke, you
exist.
definitely know about it.
Oh yeah, I've heard of those.
Yeah, I think this is what this is made of almost. Like this is the raw material, if that makes sense.
Yeah, those look
Actually, Fluke,
kind of-
because you do have the Tinker's things with 18, you do know that those are made of like actual rubies.
Ah, and this is crystal, right?
Yeah, this is not a ruby.
Well, this is actually crystal and not a ruby. Those things are actually real rubies. I mean, not
So-
just real rubies, but they are still real rubies.
This may be a dumb question. Has anybody actually tried to identify this thing yet?
No,
I
Make guesses.
asked and I got to roll a intelligence check.
Okay.
Oh, that was the sphere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to say, any moment we're standing here, your father could be closer to that. So shall we?
Well, I need
Well,
to
yeah,
take
let-
10 minutes to see if it's gonna work or not for the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let Hephe finish his thing. And where are we heading to next from the direction this sure came
Left.
from? I mean,
No, to the left.
Once the 10 minutes are up, Hephe make a wisdom check.
Okay. $11.
At 11, you feel like your spell has taken at least some effect, and there's starts like coming this very faint glow, or it's almost like a haze over the creature. You're not sure how long it's gonna hold though.
Well, I think it did something. I just don't know how much. So if we're gonna get going, I think we better get going. Unless we want to try to like burn this thing too, while like protected from decay. I think burning counts as decay.
No, that's
Well-
something different.
Nah,
We
decay
can all-
is
So I mean, do you guys want to try to burn it while it's reposed?
Sure,
she's
I
pulling
say
out
in a-
wood. She's pulling out wood and looking at Decorum and Porcelain. Fluke, you were going to say something as she's setting up tinder around it for you guys to light on fire, so to make a
Just
big
really
initial
imagine
flame.
Porcelain going, "I've been waiting for you to acid," and just start shooting fireballs.
That's
Yeah, I feel like
exactly
both
what I
Decorum
was
and
going
her.
to do until he started putting wood around. I was like, oh no, okay, I can wait.
I want a big
Well-
initial flame. All right, I want this thing to burn. Fluke, what were you saying?
I was just going to suggest we could also throw it into the water, but let's try burning it first and see how well that works.
Exactly.
You were spot on, Slump. Porcelain has literally been waiting for this. Burn something? All right, if you insist.
Burn, burn, burny, burny, burn, burn.
Yeah, you're gonna kind of have to smoke the wood. is to get the water out of it. But
Ah, yes. She's helping. It's all right.
I mean, I was pulling the tinder out of my explorer's pack.
Ah.
yeah, the explorer's pack that has traveled a day underwater.
Oh, does prestidigitation not dry things?
Can it?
Oh!
I'm not sure actually.
Can you post it in chat?
Your chill warm flavor. Uh,
No one can
For some
clean
cleaned.
things.
Okay, would clean. Okay, that it
I-
comes down
I
to, I guess, DM.
count
Would
it.
that consider
It,
cleaned?
it might take a little bit longer than a regular like prestidigitation spell, but I'd say that works.
Gotcha. I just assumed
like-
that Asri was getting herself dry, not walking around soaking.
Yeah. I'd say it takes you a little bit longer. It's gonna say about like an hour-ish for you to get enough wood and dry it to start a good fire.
Oh, in that case, never mind. Yeah, if it's gonna take that long, then no, let's just burn this bitch down. Go ahead, guys. Do your thing.
I'm going to repeatedly firebolt just chunks of flesh.
Can you
Can
hit
I
my
sup-
eyes last? I want to make sure it's reposed for as long as possible.
Can I assist her?
And as you
just
say
being
that, Hephe, you see just a bunch of coins flying around somewhere.
Well, it's
Well,
fire. They could be melting onto the eyes. Then it's more effective.
I mean, I'd like to get my copper back if we're not going to be using it.
I like to think that when I shoot them off at the end of my pointer finger. So I just kind of hold my hand up like I'm holding up a gun, and I say, "Sure, go on."
All right, I'll just start gathering my coins then.
Okay. So who all is setting this thing on fire?
I'm
Porcelain is-
supporting porcelain in like full cheerleader mode. Just full. Yes, go, hit it, ooh, mode.
It sounds
Alright.
like this is just porcelain.
Unless
Okay.
Word of Radiance also helps, but that's not fire.
No,
It's
that's
just
not.
burning
Out of
radiance.
curiosity, once we get a good, like a few good flames, Fluke will just to be curious, like if it catches at all, he's going to try stabbing into it and casting Booming Blade and seeing what sonic damage does to fire, because there's no wind damage. Like, will this put
What's
out
thunder?
flames? Will it not affect flames, or will it make them better?
Okay. Porcelain, make. I'm gonna say an intelligence check with advantage.
Sweet.
It's the inner bard of Decorm is speaking.
19.
19. It takes you about 3-ish minutes, I'm gonna say, before like a couple of the flames start sticking, and slowly but surely this whole thing starts burning. And in 10 minutes or so, just the entire pool is now like a burning pool.
This reminds me exactly of the time during Burning Halfling.
Oh,
Burning halfling, really?
so out of curiosity, how does Booming Blade interact with it at all? Does it do nothing? Does it make it better? Does it make it worse?
I'm gonna say you it doesn't really take effect, as it were. As you try to stab it, the magical effect just doesn't take off, as it were, as you're not hitting a creature or something.
Ah, because it's dead. Ah, well, that's something
And
to
it's not
try,
moving.
try again for later. Well, no, but you get initial damage after you get past level 5.
Okay, so how long until all of the pool's burnt away? Or is it just like forever burning now?
It's definitely burning. You're
Oh god,
gonna
we filmed
wait
this place
until it stops burning?
Yep, we're kind of all just chill. We're taking a short rest to get our shit back, I guess. That's what this just became.
I'll say if you take a short rest, you can. After an hour, it's still burning.
All right. While it's burning, is there any concerning fumes coming from this? This is a bad afterthought.
Is Chonker gonna fly up and see if he's detected any poison in that?
Chonkers will definitely detect that the air, though you can't. It isn't like an obvious smoke. The air above the flames is definitely poisonous. And it seems to be that you're kind of in luck in that the draft is taking it away into the hull, like where it came out of.
And now we know.
Yeah, he's going to float down and start touching the water and then just go, "Mow." And as he's going to furrow her brow and look around, Chonka says he doesn't want to have to breathe nothing but water. I think he says that the air is getting poisonous up there.
That's a lot. It just wants water.
Bow, bow,
Whatever.
bow. And he's going to point down the hall, and Asri will say, yeah, there's something poisonous coming from down the hall, apparently.
Do we want to investigate it?
I looked at Hephe.
I mean, is it coming from the hull, or is it coming from the body, and that's just where it's going?
Deem, I believe you said it was coming down the hall, right? It was the air above the
The-
smoke.
The air above the smoke is like flowing with the draft into the hull.
Oh, I misunderstood.
Yeah, the poison's coming
Oh
from
yeah,
the
I was
burning
wondering
corpse.
if you were like making a purpose misunderstanding between Asray and Chonkers, or if there was an actual misunderstanding. So.
It was me being me.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, no. Yep. I think it's just mixing in and going down the hall and getting everywhere, but it definitely seems like burning this creature is spreading poison.
Okay, well, I'd say we don't go that way, because that's where poison is, and we already know where it's coming from. Unless that's the way we need to go to be able to go downstairs to turn off the thing that makes it so we can go get this crystal that's in the water.
Wow.
Do we know where that is?
I remember the dwarf gave us directions before he
Yeah, he did.
disappeared.
He did.
Now, between now and last session, I have no idea what those directions were.
So the directions he gave you did start at the lake in which the crystal stands.
Which is where we're at.
No, you're still on the river leading to that lake.
Oh, so we gotta follow the river.
Oh, okay.
Just around.
So we just gotta follow the river. Okay. Well, then I mean, I think we gotta follow the river to get to where we're going. So that's not following the river, right? So I think we're okay.
Sounds good.
I think we should just leave it and let it burn, because that way, at the very least, it's gonna take a lot longer for it to get back to us. And I don't think there's a lot of living stuff down here, so I don't think it's gonna hurt nobody to have a little bit of poison.
That's fair enough.
So we might as well hurry.
All right, are we taking a short rest? Because I could take a little breather, or I could just touch myself. It's whatever we need to do.
We
I thought you was
were,
already taking a short rest.
yeah, we were taking a short rest.
All right, I just want to make sure before I touch myself. So hold on.
Oh my.
Well, you don't need to touch yourself, Hephe.
I know I don't need to touch myself because we're taking a short rest. I'm just gonna take a breather.
Exactly. Breathing's wrong.
I will be.
Oh.
Woof.
Wow.
Let's say, how hurt did you get?
I got hurt. I'm gonna do one more so that way I can be full HP, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Don't jinx it.
Oh my god.
Not full
Aw.
HP, but close enough.
So close.
How much do you need? How much do you need?
I need 2 HP. It doesn't matter.
I'll put a lay on hands on you. As I see you getting frustrated, I'll put in a lay on hands there.
Okay, thank you.
The
Are we all full HP now?
I didn't get hit.
I'm full HP.
Yeah, I healed Decorm with my cure wounds. I don't think anybody else got hurt. Between the 20 points of acid damage and whatever the points of constriction damage,
Yeah, it
No.
was quite rough.
That was scary. That was
He
scary.
didn't hit much, but he hit hard.
I'm really glad it didn't
Ten-
get its breath attack back.
And for 10 minutes, Fluke will spend some time talking to Hephe and Decorum about war rubies. Why not?
So more 10 HP.
Fluke, do you
Okay.
take pointers?
You take what?
Pointers.
No.
Guess it depends.
You need to spice it up a bit. I appreciate the thought, but just imagine that you're in a bar and that telling the story is the matter of life and death. Make sure that everybody hangs on their lip. Like I have.
I mean,
Once we're
Decorm, it's
back in
just a
UA
story. I mean, it's not worth dying over.
No, but any story has the potential to change the world.
Yeah, but I'm not going to... Like, I'm going to be thinking about ruminating on that freaking undead horror for a while. I need some time to make that a good story. I'm not going to just... all the good shit right away.
That's also a pointer. We don't need to hear about the stuff we just did. Tell me about your life.
I think he has.
Well, I have, and war rubies are cool.
I want to know more about war rubies, but this ain't what that is, right?
No, but
No.
It isn't what it is, but it was, just came up in conversation.
I wonder if we talk to one of the ghosts, if he'll know what that thing is. I mean, now that we have it for it to look at.
Now that we have that, I'm not letting any ghosts talk through me, letting you know.
Why?
Because I was a marionette last time.
Were you hurt? I thought you accepted it. Didn't you ask me to cast tongues on you too? I mean, weren't you there?
Yes, you're correct. I was there. That
I'll
thing
do
though
it.
seems to cause. He'll do it. That thing seems to cause people to want to become obsessive over it, is all I'm saying, Hephe. And I don't want to give the chance of one of those, now that we have one, to become obsessive and try to somehow take over my body. It's a chance I'd rather not risk.
I mean, were the ghosts obsessed over it, or did they just want to eat and that's the only way they could eat? I mean, I would be pretty obsessed over something if it meant that I could eat, and I wouldn't be able to eat if I didn't get it.
She looks back at the shambling mound and says, what's left of it, and says, I don't know how to explain to you my fear of what will happen. All I can tell you is that I have a fear of, now that we have that, allowing one of those things to speak through my body.
Well, I'm not saying let that weird-ass body part thing talk to you. I'm talking about one of the dwarves that we already talked to.
Are we walking during this conversation?
No.
Are we not on a short rest? My bad. I thought this was during
It could also be during the short rest. Yeah, in my mind, the short rest was like already gone a bit ago. So.
My bad. Yeah. Okay.
But it doesn't really matter for now.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you don't want, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, I can't make you do it. I just, I guess I wouldn't want to become one of those things either. I don't think it's gonna, but who knows? What's weird magic stuff.
Exactly. Weird magic stuff with weird magic is just, it invites trouble.
Isn't it fantastic?
No.
So, are we good to start traveling down river to get to the lake?
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
My assumption was correct.
Do we need to cast water walking or anything like that, or can we just walk on the shore?
Was water walk can also be done as a ritual, right?
It can. Can water breathing?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
So I think during our short rest, that's also something we do, or at the end of it, just to get us. Well, water walk is an hour, I think.
Yeah.
I
And
was
water
gonna
breathing
say-
is 24.
Yeah,
I'll wait on the
already
water walk if
did
we have
in
to.
camp, I think, right?
Yep. We should be fine on that.
Water breathing, we're good for 24 hours.
I didn't know if we did that this morning yet or not.
Yeah.
I mean,
was
I
gonna
remember it, but yeah, it was like, hey, we're getting up, and now we're in combat. Big morning.
What were you saying, DM?
Yeah. So the path you take, it's still a couple hours of travel, and most of it you can walk like on this path next to the river. Sometimes though you have to have a small bit, have to either walk over the water or swim through the water. And as you are doing so, I was about to suggest we go on a little bit earlier break than normal.
Works for me.
Okay.
Works
I'm cool with
for
that.
me.
That circle ball is egging on his mind.
I swear.
I've been talking, but I have not been listening.
Oh.
I'm a great communicator.
I've just been
And
yelling
he is
into the air,
Decorm.
hoping that someone would listen.
Just in character.
I've been listening and talking, but I wasn't on recorded, which is sad because I was spitting fire.
Sure
I
you
was
were.
spitting fire.
I mean, you didn't recognize when I said, I think he's here. He just hopped in a bitching and moaning channel, but we can't hear him because he's muted. As you continue to spit fire.
We had
Words
multiple
actually came
things
out of
that
my
we said
mouth.
about you not listening or not talking.
Yeah, When I came in, the TeamSpeak still said everyone was muted, and then shortly after it crashed. So I'm like, oh, well.
That's new.
So yeah, I'm
This
just
is
gonna
so
try to
sad.
reconnect.
One of my best jokes of the night.
Well,
Well, at least I enjoyed them.
That's
So
fair.
when nobody laughed, did you get a little disappointed?
Yes.
That
Carrie, I love you.
But there also was at this point in which nobody was talking, and then I said something and nobody responded, so I could figure it out. So it was just continuously. Okay, let's play some D&D.
I will say, because I wanted to call Cherry fabulous.
By the way, we're
and
back live again, just in case.
That's good. I did stop by Chipotle, not aware of how expensive it was, but it was almost worth it because the guy who checked me out was the most fabulous black guy I had ever seen. So
Hey, man,
flamboyant.
sometimes
and
fabulous
it was-
is fabulous.
How fabulous is
Yeah,
fabulous.
I can't say for sure he was gay, but he was probably gay.
Making a dim world just a little bit brighter.
Definitely.
Don't let nobody dull your sparkle.
Speaking of sparkles,
Something was more concerning than anything else.
what's concerning?
Speaking of sparkles, what are we going into that's gotta be sparkling?
Possibly this. As soon as Slumperd says I can do it.
Well, you have a couple of hours of travel, and yeah, at least Ralgo wanted to do something while you're traveling. So I guess my sparkle wasn't a very good step towards what I was going to say. So, Ralgo, do you think?
Okay. Who has the crystal? Is it Fluke?
I think it's this Decorm.
Decorum.
Decorm, can I see the crystal real quick?
No.
Please?
Yeah, sure.
All right. And I'm gonna pull out Pool of Health, and I'm gonna get Pool of Health while in the container, closer to the crystal, and see if it reacts in any way at all. Like if it's pulled towards it, if it starts to glow, either one of them. Just curious what this magical crystal does.
Do you do anything besides like you're literally just holding them closer, or are you like trying?
I'm not
anything?
having them like touch or anything. I'm just holding them closer.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Okay, I can do that. Boop. Nat 20.
Nice.
Nice.
I see whatever happens.
You hold them closer, and it is you like need to stop for a moment and check to be sure that that's what's happening, and you hold Pool of Health for a moment very still, and you notice that just very slightly like a magnet being repelled, Pool of Health is just barely like off center from where she should be dangling, as it were.
So they're repelling instead of attracting.
And
Opposites.
you notice in the orb, it like this very slight pulse seems to be coming out of it. It's very slow and barely noticeable, but it's like this very fake color change coming from the middle of it going to the outsides.
Oh. Guys, did anybody else see what I just saw?
Can I?
Make a perception check.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Perception checks all around.
And I'm just gonna kind of like get them closer and then
No,
farther apart,
no.
closer and then farther apart, just so they can like kind of see the same thing that I'm seeing that's
Yeah.
repeating.
But what
I'm
are
gonna
the
say-
specifics?
Ezra, you, after taking a moment, you notice it as well. Porcelain, you don't notice it until Ezra starts pointing it out. As the DC was 25, but 24 and natural 20. Close enough.
It's the best you can do.
Doing my best, sir.
But you see this very faint, like in the center of the orb, there starts like is a color change going from outside, from inward outward. It's a very slow process and very takes a long time. very gradual. You figure like if you were to like put it somewhere and take it out like 2 hours later, it suddenly would have like maybe a deeper red color, as it were.
Fascinating.
So I think this crystal might be evil. I mean, I probably should have known that when I saw the undead thing wanting to be around it, but magic's weird. But this is pure good. I don't think they get along too well.
Question. You sensed earlier, Decorm, you said an evil surrounding good, if I'm correct?
Wait, what?
Last session, you sensed some sort of evil surrounding good.
Yeah.
So she's calling on that. She's saying, is it possible that there's that the crystal itself is the evil and like there's some sort of energy trapped inside that is good, or is that still somewhere else? Yeah. Is that somewhere else?
As you are saying this, Decorm is like nodding and his ears start appearing like, that's an interesting thought. Let me check.
Okay. The same ringing of goodness and tinge of evil are still everywhere. A little bit louder and a little bit heavier now. But when you focus on the crystal itself, it doesn't give necessarily any good or evil vibes. It does give like a heavy undead vibe.
Ah, the powers of life and death.
We're getting closer to the goodness of it all. But this thing is primarily just anti-Hephe.
Anti-Hephe. Well, that sounds about all I need to know if we want to break this.
I don't want to break it.
I was just putting the suggestion and offer out there.
I don't like it, but thank you for suggesting it.
I mean, if it's bad, maybe we should get rid of it. I mean, we got rid of lots of other evil things, right?
We can sell it.
Can we... Decorum, are you willing to try and meet us halfway? I'm trying. Is that we are wait to sell it until we get to Rubel and or somewhere that a church person or a higher magic person could dispel it? And or someone with proper, like your Lord Orton. I believe that's your uncle, was it?
Oh wait, I can cast
Perhaps-
spell magic.
A friend of his uncle.
Yes, but he wants to sell it, and if he's gonna sell it for the most money, I'm trying to meet him halfway here.
I don't want to sell it. I want to keep it and investigate it a bit more. And this gives me an idea, and I'm gonna grab my sending stone. And do we know what this thing is called?
I don't think so.
Not yet.
No idea what it is other than description.
Necromantic Arcane Focus Crystal. Or Arcane Focus Raw Material.
I just want to show it to Lord Orton. I think he will appreciate that. If I were a wizard, I would think this was neat.
I mean, if you were a necromancer wizard, you'd think it's even neater.
You're not wrong.
So are you gonna talk to Lord Orton and let him know what you saw? What this is? Because I also thought maybe we should let the High Priest of Oppo know. He might know what it is. But I like the idea of trying Lord Orton first. He's a pretty smart guy.
Alright, I'm gonna grab my sending stone and I'm gonna be a dick to the DM. And I'm gonna say
Be a dick to the DM.
Always a good idea.
It's just the best thing to say ever, honestly.
And Slumperd's like, man, I was so excited. We were just gonna come back from a break. I didn't have to worry about anybody asking any questions. We had moved on from this thing.
No.
If there's one thing I've learned about you guys, you've never moved on from anything.
Nope. You don't.
Hey,
You're not
hey,
wrong.
don't call me out in my personal life.
we still feel bad about killing those griffins.
That's fair.
Those griffins deserve it.
To be fair, that was self-defense.
It was.
I mean, we literally tried everything we could to keep these things from... Like, we will tame these griffins. Oh, no, we won't.
Starts
second
eating one of the
thought.
sailors. Maybe another time.
Maybe not. These
Good,
ones.
good job.
Oh, he's hungry.
So I'm gonna send that message.
Find an answer to my previous question. Also,
Oh
we
my
found a
Jesus.
necromantic orb that made a slimy monster made of different. That's a good message. I love it. Oh yeah, and you sent everything in chat, so I have to look what the previous question was.
Yeah, that's
Is that the part where it was a dick to the DM?
yeah.
That's
It's like,
the part.
I remember I asked the question, but I forgot which one.
I can just answer any question now. The answer is yes.
No, she was gonna check something with Lord Orton, and it was probably about. And I want to look it up, but my internet is just like
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
really slow. She said, "I'll get back to you on that."
Roll 20 is also not very good in searching your previous messages.
I believe in you guys.
Yeah, I found it. Hunting a dig of a mine full of centaur faces in the swamp. Do you or Lord Orton have some advice on to find them?
That was a bad question.
Yeah.
I get a response now.
Are you ready for a bad response?
Hey, Sakurina is not a dick nor dumb. I hope. Ah, it would be so funny if Sakurina also has a wisdom of 7.
That would be the best. Or better yet, she's really smart, but it turns out that her charisma is actually really in the negative.
She's a very
these
good actress.
performances,
Yeah.
I was gonna
She
say,
has
these
this
performances
triple
have actually
expertise.
expertise.
To get
Yeah.
over the -2 she has in charisma.
How I get away with it.
That's not advice how to find them. And what was the rest of your message? Also, we found a necromantic orb that made slimy monsters made of different.
And he is gonna say in real life, different monsters. Do you know anything about that? But the sending spell doesn't
Yeah.
catch that.
I heard a thing. Okay.
And as she says it, it sounds like the last part of her message is similarly cut off, that she was saying something more, but this is what you get.
Well, Lord Orton doesn't know about it. All he does knows knows about it, but he. If you want to destroy it, that's fine. It just seems treasury.
I don't disagree with you. I also don't want to like I said, I'm willing to like try to meet you halfway here and like try to get it back to Rebel and get it in the hands of Lord Orton or someone. I'm worried is all. So that's why I'm saying like if you think that we can safely do that, then I'm okay with it. And she looks to the rest of the group.
I'm gonna go on my knees, put my shoulder on her, and say, "Nothing to worry about. I'll keep you safe."
I mean, honestly, if nothing else, I wouldn't mind breaking it up into pieces and making jewelry out of it and selling it to some wizards. If making it small might decrease its potency and just allow it to be a simple arcane focus, it would still be worth money, but hopefully no longer dangerous. That'd be the idea, at least.
I mean, it might be important for someone that we're gonna find down further into the area that we're going.
Oh yeah, that's why I said we don't break it up now unless it starts exhibiting some bad juju. I don't really know what word to use. Necrotic energies. Let's go with that.
Oh, I guess nobody's actually used detect magic to see what kind of school of magic this is, huh?
Yeah, I think we can assume
can.
necromancy.
I mean, now that you're saying necromancy magic, can anybody see what kind of magic this thing's actually giving off? Looked at Azri.
It'll take 10 minutes, but yes.
On Hefe's back. We won't even have to stop.
I'm just get out of here.
All right, Bap. Those DM's problems. Now.
Okay. Detect magic. Make. No, actually, don't make anything. When casting the detect magic, it seems like within the orb there is this like necromantic swirl of energy, kind of like in that similar pulse but much faster, coming from the innards out.
Yeah, this is definitely necromantic energy swirling around in the side of this crystal.
Oh, that don't sound good.
Well, then I suppose we should carry on with the idea of finding out how to properly dispose of it.
I mean, do you want me to talk to the High Priest of Vapo and say that we found this big red glowing orb of necromantic energy and see what he
As
thinks
you
it
are talking about this Decorm, you get a message from Lord Orton in your head, and I'm gonna
Hooray.
say from Discord.
Because he can also cast sending.
And
Best sending stone ever bought. Decorm is just gonna look and he's gonna get a little smirk on his face. I'm gonna go.
and he's just gonna
He's
go.
gonna go. He's just gonna go. He's gonna run.
I'm gonna think what he's gonna say. He's gonna say.
Imagine him
Lord
bouncing
Orton
and
and I have
vibrating.
dealt with a project, with a problem.
Wait, what's up?
Lord Orton and I have dealt with a problem, and I'm gonna put it in my bag. Let us go.
Okay, what's the
As you
problem?
were doing that, you noticed one of the spool of black silk in Azri's hand as she was about to touch that to to see what would happen.
Son of a bitch!
That was my next step. If you hadn't gotten, like, I was literally about to say that if you hadn't gotten a message from Lord Orton, I wanted to wait to see what that would have done.
All right, so what exactly did he tell you?
Don't worry about it.
I'm worried. I
You
just
don't
got
trust
told
me?
that it was necromantic energies, and then you said that you have it handled and you just put it in a bag. I mean, that doesn't really tell me much.
Hephe, I'm disappointed that you don't trust me.
I didn't say I didn't trust you. I was just curious what he said.
He asked me to keep it away from Ruble, leave it here as it be, and he's willing to give money. So,
What? He wants to leave it here?
yes, that's what he said.
He wants to keep it away from Rubel specifically.
So it is bad.
That was not. Yes, it's bad. Look at it.
Oh, did the guy with negative wisdom just say that?
And the guy with the positive wisdom.
I
was gonna
use
say,
divine sense. I know it's bad.
you know that it has necromantic properties, right?
Yes.
And because of his low wisdom, he assumes that's the same thing as being bad.
Okay, and with my
Yeah,
high
exactly.
wisdom, I'm going to tell you that gentle repose and things that bring people back from the dead are necromantic. That doesn't just mean it's bad. Yes, there are bad
Guys,
things
can we please
associated
go?
with it.
Can we go? We're focusing too much time on this. Your father is in danger.
We were
should
still
go.
walking while we're doing all this, Decorm. I don't know why you're being so angry.
Just
People can
bored.
talk and walk at the same time.
So all right, so we're just going to put it in your sack and we're going to carry it along for a little bit?
Yes.
All right.
Oh wait, I can respond. I forgot about that.
Reply to this message.
There's the 7 wisdom.
Oh, there's the 7 wisdom. Thank you.
That's not a wisdom. That's an intelligence.
It's both.
He made the choice to argue with you instead of reply.
Exactly.
No, I just imagine he's getting some of that argument in his head. What the fuck?
I imagine he just got the first part of Lord Orton if I have it handled.
And Lord Orton like, thank you, nephew.
All right, well, I trust you guys. I mean, I still want to know what it is and what exactly it can do, but I trust you guys. Why? Because I don't know. It's magic.
Never seen it
down
before.
here. I've never seen it before. Lots of people wanted it. People were dying for it.
It goes for lots of things, and then we're gonna put up a rock. You haven't seen this rock before. Do you want to know everything about this rock?
Is it a magic rock?
It is.
Oh my gosh, I want to know everything about it.
Hold on, I should have detect magic still going. Is it magic? Is that rock magic?
Make a perception check.
Okay. Please get a nat 20 and be actually a magic rock. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Well, 15.
15. For a moment you think it's magic, but then you realize it's just the similar magical particles that you see everywhere that just floated around it.
Hephe,
Yeah?
it's about as magic as everything else down here. I will agree that this is clearly
magic?
something.
Wait a second. So, wait. Decorm asked
No.
me to trust him, and then the next thing he does is lie to me about a magic rock?
No, he's not wrong. The thing is, everything's magic down there. He didn't lie to you. He's just being tricky with his words.
Oh.
And he's right though. You haven't actually. I mean, he's not wrong. Everything down here is relatively new to our senses, and for the majority of us, because we've never been in an area so saturated with magic.
I mean, maybe you guys
Like-
haven't.
You're correct. I did say I apologize. This is again where words get tricky. I'm saying us for the rest of us. You grew up here. I have no doubt that you grew up in such a magical land. The more magic we are used to is book-studied magic and the occasional sorcerer, maybe a high cleric who actually does something, but we're not used to the ground being magic, the water having mechanical magic eels. It's there. He makes a good point that everything is new. And Azria is hoping to have successfully distracted him away from the subject.
I'm successfully distracted.
Okay. And she will just continue to kind of talk about the scenery and kind of look back and wink at Decorum.
I mean, I've seen some magical tombs before, but this is, yeah, magic evil sharks are sort of another level.
Have we reached the end of the river?
If you're done talking, yeah.
Hooray! As soon as we're done talking, we get there.
The entire
Could have
travel.
gotten there so much sooner.
The entire travel takes an hour or 3. But about that bits in, you do start seeing the same light as you saw before, but much larger now. And you realize that at the end of this tunnel, there is a very large cavern where from the middle of this lake shines a bunch of reddish light to the ceilings. And as you enter, it is like a genuinely massive opening and lake. You feel like basically most of the Silver Blossom village that you saw earlier would be able to fit inside of this place, as it were.
And it's still all underground with just a red glow
Yeah.
from the lights. Okay.
And in this space, you do have a lot more light than you had before, as like from this middle of the lake, this bright shining red crystal floats, or not floats, sits in the water.
Does it look like the same red crystal that we have?
No, it's very different. In the very first thing in that is its shape. Actually, make a perception check, because it is like in the middle of the lake where you are now at the edge of it. And I'll
with
say
normal
that
or disadvantage?
normal, because you have the light of the crystal now. And I'll also say that since like most of the water is now lit up, you do very clearly see like this swarm of sharks that you saw before now swim through this larger pool.
Is this the same crystal we saw in the other pool with the sharks?
This
There's only one big crystal. We saw it through visions and
Yeah,
stuff, but we
that's-
never saw it ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the one we saw through visions, we're assuming, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is specifically for porcelain. You can almost from here point out like where you remember jumping out of the cavern and falling into the water.
So this is the powerful good crystal that we think it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you notice, Hephe, with your perception of 15.
Anybody else?
I'll roll,
It-
yeah.
Oh, sure.
I
got
didn't know it was
good
up for
dark
anybody.
vision.
My bad.
Dark
it's
vision.
It's all lit.
Yeah, at this
Well,
point
yeah,
it's
it's
all
quite
fairly
light.
lit, so 15, 16, 17.
All around the same ballpark.
So you all see the crystal. It's very clearly like different in shape. All the earlier red crystals that you saw were like perfectly spherical, and this one has many like branches, and it kind of reminds you of like a campfire being frozen.
Huh.
And like to even more sort of like give out that campfire feel, from the middle of it is the same pulse that you saw with the put in the orb that you have. You see it similarly, but much more powerful and much more how do you say it? Much more regular, as
Radiant?
it were.
Consistent.
Yeah, consistent. Thank you.
Okay. And you say, is it floating on top of the water, or
No,
is it like
it's
inside the lake? In the middle of
underwater in the middle of the lake.
it? Okay,
Yeah,
underwater.
I
in the
said
middle.
float somewhere, but that was wrong.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So it's not like we can walk on the water and get to it. Okay.
As well as
Sharks
actually
can
with
breach.
for the fluke and porcelain, what you also see is Ezra and Hephe are mostly focused on the crystal itself, but as you look over the rest of the cavern, you notice on the other side of the lake for you, there's this ancient structure. You see two pillars standing with what looks to be a man-made roof over it, standing in the middle, kind of like enlarging the cavern in that direction. It's like either someone made like the fanciest mine they could possibly make and way too large, or it kind of reminds you of like a large town bazaar, as it were.
Definitely want to inspect those. Fluke will point them out. Though I will say, as far as ideas, Hephe, you said you had a spell to control water. Would we maybe be able to drain the center and just kind of hell down with water walking? Just basically walk up to it, and that way if the sharks come out, they're at least on land? Something of that nature?
Let me post it in chat.
Well, we
I'm
wouldn't
imagining
nec-
a Moses situation right here.
Yeah, you can cause water in an area to move apart and create a trench. The trench expands across the spell's area. But water forms to the other side. The trench remains until the spell effects ends, or you choose a different effect. Redirect flow. You cause flowing water in the area to move in a direction you choose. And water has to overflow obstacles. So is the lake having any kind of flow to it? Like, did I like maybe flow the crystal up to the top?
There, you notice there are multiple rivers similar to the one you just followed, and they all like flow into this lake. And it's odd in that it's not obvious where all this water goes.
Okay, and how deep does the crystal seem to be within the water?
I think at its top part it'd be about 30 feet underwater, and it's no, wait, actually it would be much more. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
But say, I could tie a rope around with a mage hand or something.
Oh, so sorry for the explanation. The crystal is like in a 30 by 30 cube, as it were. 30 feet by 30 feet cube.
Okay, so the crystal's a
it's-
30-foot cube.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it fits inside. It's pretty big.
Okay, so it's a really big crystal, but how deep in the water is it?
Yeah. Let me check real quick.
Changing over metrics.
Yeah, right.
That is one thing I forget about D&D, into the fact that like D&D is made by Americans, so they confuse everyone else.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why it's a satanic cult.
It's about, on its top part, it's about 85 feet underwater, and its bottom part is about 110 feet.
So I could, in theory, part water and have most of it be revealed.
Part water, 20 foot tall. You cause the water to the level, standing water rise. Sure, the floods. Oh wait, that's
Not flood, part water.
100 feet cube.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you could definitely do that.
And the concentration is up to minutes. Okay. Next question. How far away is this crystal from shore?
That would
That's
be
a
much
very good
more.
question.
No, I have to calculate again, so give me a moment.
500 miles.
I swear.
I'd say about 400
Jerry,
feet.
sometime. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'd say about 400 feet.
Ooh.
So the range
Okay.
is 300 feet, so I only need to go 100. Okay, so I'm gonna start casting ritual casting water walk on all of us, if it's not already on us from the previous traveling that we had to do.
And I would like to see how perceptive these creatures are about things on the surface. So I'm going to tell Elvira to fly out pretty low to the surface of the water. Does she seem to attract their attention?
If she's not trying to be stealthy, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, that actually reminds me. Porcelain. I'm just curious. I'm getting used to these little creatures too. I noticed in the last fight we were doing just fine, but you cast Dragon's Breath on yourself, then also Firebolted. Why wouldn't you just cast it on your baddie friend?
Well, to be honest, she's a bit of a coward. As she flies back to me.
Ah.
I love it.
Oh shit! I forgot Lady Licky. I'm gonna look for her.
You left.
I
shit
thought
on.
she was
think
still
we
up
actually
at the top
was
of the
at
hole.
surface.
As you start looking, she climbs up out of the water and like shakes herself out like a dog, and stands ready for
She
you.
fucking. She followed us down. Okay.
And didn't get attacked by the sharks. And survived.
I love her.
Okay.
Okay.
Lady Lucky is the Schrodinger's lizard of this campaign.
And
Apparently.
Fair. So I'm gonna. Is water walk cast on me?
Yep.
I'm
I mean,
gonna
if you've
do-
taken
I wanna
10 minutes.
start- Yeah, I didn't know if it was already a cast on me from having the
Oh
travel.
no,
or
I'd
not.
say you'd have to take the 10 minutes, but that's
Okay,
fine.
so I take the 10 minutes, and once that's done, I want to walk out on the water and see if the sharks start attacking me or not. Like, I don't want to go super far. I just want to like put my hoof out there, see what happens.
You note as you are walking over the water and looking down at the sharks, the ground underneath you starts like fairly flat, but then suddenly it just dives and becomes much deeper. And you notice that the sharks, as you start walking on it, kind of start waiting you on that edge until you kind of get over that edge, as it were.
As much as I don't like even suggesting as much, if you need a distraction, I can run very fast while not allowing them any openings.
So like, it seems like as soon as I cross that threshold into deep water, they'll attack me.
Yeah.
All right, I'll walk back and I'll say, "All right, guys. So I think I can, like Flick was saying, I think I might be able to get us to be able to touch that crystal, with controlled water. But the thing is that I think as soon as we like get past a certain point, so question, how far did I have to walk to reach that threshold? Because you said it was 400 feet to the crystal. How long is the distance between the shore and the deep part?
I'd say about 40-ish feet.
40-ish
50 feet, something like that.
40, 50 feet. That deep part, it starts to get real deep after 40 or 50 feet out there. And if I can get out there, I can cast control water, and I can cause a big old trench to happen, and we'll be able to see that crystal. I might even be able to touch it. But I think those sharks still might wanna do something about it. Like they might come out of the water. I'm not sure how effective that would be if they'd be able to hurt us if we're doing that. Or I don't know, it's just an idea. We might be able to do that, or we might just want to go and see if we just turn it all off like we were originally thinking. But I wanted to give Fluke at least a chance to see if we can do this. What do you guys think?
Sounds like a great plan, but what do we want to do when we touch it? We hope.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's a good thing.
We were supposed to turn them off, right? Is that what that happens then?
I mean, we wanted to go into this area so that way we could turn off the sharks, so that way we could go get the crystal. But we might be able to skip all that and just get the crystal if I cause a big old trench to happen and we're okay with getting hurt maybe a little bit. I don't know.
That's fair. Sorry, I understood that the crystal is 30 by 30 feet. Or
yeah, the crystal's 30. It's a 30-foot cube. It's 80 feet under the water, but I can control water to basically reveal almost all of it. It's 400 feet away. I need to be 300 feet to be able to cast it to get it, to be able to get to it.
We're not going to be able to carry that, right? That's my main issue.
Yeah, you still have to get it out of the water, as it were.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I thought that we were going to. I was confused in the way that I thought the crystal was used to turn them off in some way. So
that's not what the crystal does.
The crystal is guarded by the sharks. We need to go into the dungeon to turn off the sharks so we can get the crystal.
I'm trying to see if we can skip that by getting the crystal now.
Yeah, I'm not for that. I don't think I want to skip it though. At least talking about it is good because now we have some idea of how we're going to get that crystal out if we do turn the sharks off, which is what I'm still voting for.
So we don't want to try this. We want to see if we can turn off a shark still. We don't want to try to skip that step of the spooky place.
Could we? Wait. That thing you do when you know things, Ezra.
What?
That thing you do when you know.
Thinking?
No.
She says like trying to muster a joke.
Oh,
when I know things.
I don't know. You take a couple of minutes and then you look at an item, or what Teak used to be able to do, like.
Oh, identify! When I cast identify, yes.
Yes, that shit. Can you also do that like instantly, or does it take 10 minutes?
Everything she does takes 10 minutes.
That's not true. Yeah. That is not true. I can clean things hella quick now.
Okay, that's fair. Most of your magical things take 10 minutes.
Could we maybe get you there?
Listen.
Can we get you there for 10 minutes so we can know what this crystal is? Because all I get from is good vibes, which is enough, but weird.
I mean, that's why I want to get the crystal. I want to free whatever it is. It might be something that's trapped.
Wait.
That sounds like a stretch, but
can we get me within 30 feet of it and see if there's something in there I can try and talk to, maybe? No, because if it's a god like yours, it won't work like that. Never mind.
I mean, the problem
I'm just trying to spit out ideas. That's all I'm trying to do is just think. I'm not very good at thinking.
They are great ideas, but it's just what do we want to do with the crystal?
I want to save the crystal, that's for sure.
Yeah, we want to get to the crystal. The problem I'm having is we might landlock these sharks and kill them a lot more effectively, but if I'm not mistaken, they repopulate, don't they?
They reconstruct? She hesitates.
These aren't normal things. That's what I remember. They're controlled. They're mechanical or something. They're not really alive. They're
Yeah, but they
made.
still somehow breed, I think. I think that's what... Did the dwarf say something like that to DM? Is Fluke misremembering? He's pondering this.
I think all the dwarf said was they don't count as alive creatures because they are being controlled, or they are.
They can be turned off.
I'd explain as they are more like they're more like a familiar than like a person, as it were.
So a magical entity that was created. Okay.
Well, okay, let's look some of our options. On the one hand, we could try using Hefe's magic to landlock them and maybe kill them more effectively, and we could see how that goes. On the other hand, we should also consider the fact that, I mean, sure, there's a dungeon with danger, but it also might have more cool things. I'm all for dungeon delving and getting more items. Not to sound overly greedy, but I'm also just concerned with the fact that this is a swarm, and I don't deal with swarms well. I mean, you saw how we handled that big scary zombie thing. That was a walk in the park overall, but a swarm.
It's nice to have numbers on our side.
Yeah. Next time we'll put you in front of it. Walk in the park. Burn my clothing and shit. But okay.
Wait, is there clothes? Is there singeing on his clothes? Can she help repair that with prestidigitation or anything? Like get some of that soot off. Ah, you're right. I should have taken that.
Decorum would have. Plus, then Decorum wouldn't have something to bitch about, and that's very important to him.
You can always bitch about the fact that we talk a lot.
I mean, he
talk
does
a
do
lot.
that already.
Normally, Excuse me?
Well, looking around, can I see the step 1 of the instructions that the dwarf told us for going towards the off switch, at least? How far away is that?
Make a perception check.
Coming.
Bleh, dying.
Why silent? Perception. Nope.
In 11,
Very red around here.
you look around and the problem starts being like on the other side of the lake, except for like that large structure that you saw before, nothing is really visible. And as you're looking at that larger structure, you don't feel like he was talking about like that there were dwarven locations that you could find, as it were, and from there the instructions kind of started. And you don't feel like that thing is what you're looking for.
How far away from the crystal were we again?
400 feet.
Yeah.
Shall I just use my ears and try and talk to it by yelling very loudly?
And you can always try.
I'm proposing this to the party.
Oh, sorry.
I mean,
I
don't
can
think the
cast
shots are gonna look...
I'm gonna cast thaumaturgy and I'm gonna start shouting.
You might as
gonna
well give
use-
it a go.
Divine sense to see if it responds.
Okay.
Hello, Crystal in the Lake! Can you hear me?
That's for. Can you put Divine Sense again on the chat?
Yeah. Technically, it's like pretty beat, but because so far I've been able to sort of hear timing and things
Yeah.
that are problems.
Good post of that divine sense there.
I suck.
But the question is, do you swallow?
No.
Divine sense. Here we go. Control C. Post in the chat. There we go. Let's get that in your character sheet this time.
Yeah, I'm copy pasting it right now.
Yeah. The 60 feet is only for the celestial fiend and that thing.
What does he know that?
Decorm, make a charisma check.
Oh shit.
With them shouting in this dark depths of a cave, is there any movement? Do we seem to catch anything's attention?
Good question.
We'll get to that in a bit. Let's first do this. With the 11 charisma, you pay attention to the crystal, and you still have that similar sight as you had before, where it's like this one, now very obviously the crystal, one good sense that is surrounded by an evil sense. And you have a feeling, you can't really quite tell what's specifically happening, but you have a feeling that at least the evil sense is in somehow reacting to the pulsing of the crystal.
But no response to the yelling.
No change in what's happening.
Well, it can't hear us, but the evil thing is working, responding to the good thing. I don't know, guys. This is all weird to do, and I don't understand it, and it's frustrating.
Porcelain, can you roll a perception check?
Good thing, boss. Try my
with
best,
the 10, you look around, and except for the sharks, you feel pretty safe.
Elvira's not freaking out with her blind sense.
Make a perception check for her as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Nah, she's good.
Yeah, she's fine. I think she has 60 feet blind sense.
Uh-huh.
So she notes a couple of creatures moving on top of you, but they don't seem. I would say that Elvira would recognize them as just a lot larger bats as her.
Oh. She's a relatively big bat, so that's a little concerning, but all right.
Giant bats exist.
Giant bats do exist.
Okay.
Giant bats ponders a new map.
So what do you do?
Who, me?
No, all of you.
All right. So do we want to try to? Does Tensor's floating disc even work to be able to carry that? I heard somebody mention Tensor's floating disc.
Hold on, let me post it again to see how much its weight capacity is. 500 pounds. So does this look like it would weigh more than 500 pounds?
500 pounds.
That's like 200 kilograms, 230
Yeah,
kilograms.
200 kilograms. You figure it'd be about at that edge.
So yeah, I think it might just work that we could do that. It might falter, which would mean we do a lot, but here's the better question. Do we think that all of us together can hoist it up onto Tensor's floating disc? No boy, you're 20 feet. It follows you.
Hephe and I are pretty strong.
I'm willing to give it a try, give it a help.
Oh, it says push or drag, not carry, not lift.
Well, pull,
No,
right? If we can make
yeah.
a pulley system with ropes.
You could still
push-
say that you're kind of like, yeah. I'd count it for a strength with advantage as well.
Okay.
If you do this.
Okay. But I would also have to get out there, which means I want to be staying near the shore, which isn't a problem. I don't need to say that I'm one of the faster people. So we also have haste. We have a couple different tools to our disposal. It's just
Now-
if we want to do this, it might be dangerous.
I wanted to say this, but the entire concentration of the spell, can't you change the water you're controlling?
I don't think so. Does it let me do that?
It does
Any
somewhere
freestanding
say.
water inside an area you choose that is a cube up to 100 feet on a side. Until the spell ends, you control any free water standing in an area you choose that is a cube up to 100 feet on the side. You can choose.
Yeah, as an action, you can turn. You can repeat the same effect or choose a different one.
Does that mean I can move the area that I'm controlling?
Yeah, you could.
Or is it only that 100 feet and I can do a different effect within that same 100 feet?
That's interesting. Are you controlling the water or the area? I think in this case you would be controlling more the area than the water itself.
Yeah, so, and by that thought, couldn't he part it at the shore and just kind of close some water behind us as we're moving forward?
Waterbender style?
No, I think you'd pick like an area and that's where your spell takes effect, but within that area you can change what you wanted to do.
That's the way I read it.
That's also the way I read it, so that's
Okay,
how
so
we're gonna do it.
so it's not like I can center it around me, and as long as I'm moving, the area changes. It has to be the same consistent area, which is
That's actually a question then. Your target, any freestanding water inside. Okay, yeah. So you. No, you can't target yourself.
Well, now, okay, here's another thing to consider, I suppose. Do you think we could use one of the other effects of that spell to screw with the sharks and allow us more time to get to the area we need to and then part it?
Alright, so what I can do is I can flood water, which makes everything get like 20 feet taller. I can part the water, which I think is pretty self-explanatory. I can redirect the flow, so I can cause like the water that's moving, I can make it go in a different way. That's kind of cool. And I can cause a whirlpool, which is the thing that you already saw when we fought that weird like monster thing that like part troll, part not troll. It was real weird. I never seen anything like that before. With all the arms, and it was like undead and nauseous in the lake. Honestly, I don't want to remember too much about it. I just remember being real bad, and I caused a whirlpool. So I can cast a whirlpool, and I'll definitely mess up those sharks. But as soon as they get out of that area, and as long as we're in that area, it ain't no good to us.
I think maybe if we think we can do it, I'm down to start ritual casting now.
So why don't you go ahead and get the disc ready?
She will do just that. She will sit down and start ritual casting.
All right, Fluke, you got that sword, right? What can that sword do?
I can cast haste on someone with the other sword. This one's.
What does that do? What does haste do exactly?
Let's see. Doubles your movement speed.
Oh wow, that's good.
Allows you an extra ability.
An extra ability? What?
Like an extra attack or something. Or
an extra action. Okay.
I'm gonna say it in character, damn you. I mean, one of my the sword I have now can also cast slow, but it's not. It wouldn't get all the sharks anyway, and I've already blessed today. Sword can still give us 2 more blesses, or basically make it difficult for them to hit us, but it's only one person. Like I said, the other sword has haste, which is definitely very handy. Cast Bane, but that's 3 people that have a slightly less chance to hit us. Not very good. And it can give me advantage on attacks against one creature for a minute, which definitely useful for one-on-one fights. But I think haste is pretty much the only useful thing here. Which, admittedly, with you having haste, you could get to the center faster. If I had haste, I could be an amazing distraction. They would not even know where they would know where I was coming or going. So that's something to consider. I know Decorm also has an item that does that to him. Not how we want to use that ability.
Wait, I have an idea.
What's the idea?
Wait, I'm thinking. Sorry, it takes some time. Not my strong suit. We could haste Lady Lick, because she can swim. That's how far I got. I don't know if that's useful, but it's an idea that's mine.
We just wanted to be included.
What's my
See,
strength?
I thought Lady Lucky is like next to Hephe and me the strongest, so she could help with moving this object.
Actually, he
And
makes a
if
very
she-
valid point.
If she and I are hasted, we could quicker push it or shove it.
Well, that aside, hasting Lady Licky allows us to have a swimming person. I mean, she got past the eels and stuff once, right? The sharks rather. So she could go down there with the rope and tie it around the thing at quick speeds, could she not? And that way it would give us an extra thing to do from this distance. And she'll start like gesturing towards her pack so you can grab her 50 feet of rope out, because I assume we're gonna need a lot of feet of rope.
Yeah, I'll add my 50 feet of rope to that.
And she'll just say, like, I assume, like, actually having Lady Licky hasted isn't a half bad idea. Decorm just didn't know how it was going to be useful. And the usefulness is not putting us in the water with the sharks or giving us a barrier between them, basically. Assuming you don't mind putting her in that danger.
I'll go with her. Just for shaking it. And I'll scare them off.
I have a question, Slumperd.
Sure.
It's mechanics for being able to lift something. Looking at push, drag, or lift, you can lift a weight in pounds up to twice your carrying capacity or 30 times your strength score. With powerful build, I can basically double that. So that's, if I'm not carrying anything, 960 pounds. That's just being able to lift, not like carry capacity or anything. So, because you said that we're more or less on the cusp of being able to put it onto that disc and it not break, and we don't know if it's going to be one way or the other. If I left all of my stuff on shore, would I be able to help hold it up on that disc while we carry it? Is
Yeah.
that possible?
I'd say you figure you yourself, if you, without any of your stuff, you'd probably be able to carry it, but you'd only be able to go half your speed, as it were.
If I had all my, and that's if I wasn't using the disc, right?
That's without the disc.
Okay.
So you do
if
figure you can put at least like take the moment and get it on the disc.
Okay. All right, so this is what I'm thinking. I think with that disc, I'm pretty strong. I think I'm gonna be able to just lift that up by myself onto the disc. So that means I'm gonna need Asri on my back to be able to get out there and do this. And I think that if you make me real fast, I can get us out there and back like super good. Like no problem at all. Like faster than they even be able to react. But I don't know.
The haste does have the downfall that you need a quick 6 seconds to recover after a minute, because it just burns up all your energy. But I could cast it, or could I cast it?
You can only cast on yourself.
Yeah, but I could give the shoes to you. No, you can't wear shoes. Never mind.
So like, if you make me really fast and really hard to hit, and all you guys act as distractions while Asri and I go out there and try to put this thing on this disc, I don't know. I think it might work, but I also think it might be a real bad idea. What do you guys think, advisors?
Here's the
Advisors.
That's where I'm leaning right now. Just book it out there real quick, real back, and they won't even know what hit them.
I like the plan. It is risky. Here's the thing, and I don't want to be that guy, but what do we get from it? It's not going to get us closer to Pool of Health. It's not going to get us closer to Jody or your father. So there's a big risk involved.
Well, I mean, it's a real powerful good, right? You can feel it. You're saying, right? It's real powerful, real good.
That's true, but I just wanted to mention that.
Well, oh yeah, I totally get you. But like right now, I got no idea where Jody is. I got no idea where my dad is, and like, if this thing is like being trapped here by evil things, if we free it, it might want to help us. It might be able to help Pool of Health. It might be able to let us know what's going on. Like doing good things might get more good things onto yourself.
Well, the other concern I'd like to bring up is the fact that one reason we're doing this was to deactivate the sharks so we wouldn't have to worry about them as we travel. What if we get this thing from the bottom, and then they're constantly dogging us, and then we have to go deactivate them in the dungeon area anyway.
Well, then we have to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
we're
said-
just-
saying,
we
if
skip
if
it.
it's something we're going to have to likely do anyway, why should we risk ourselves getting eaten by the sharks?
Because I don't know what's in that dungeon, and it might be worse than the sharks.
I'm far more than willing to try this plan.
All right, so let's take a vote. Who wants to try to do the water thing right now, and who wants to go into the dungeon and just do it that way, or go into the tower or the depths or whatever it is.
Alrighty, so
I like the idea of doing the water thing, just give it a shot, and worst case we just book it right back and maybe we get bit a little bit. That's my vote. Who else is with me? Can I get a show of hands?
Well, let's be
I'm
fair
with
here.
you.
Worst case,
I'm
is
always
we're
with
eaten
you.
and our souls trapped here forever.
on both accounts, honestly. Oh shit. I will. Asriel will raise her hand with that one, saying like, I'm willing to give it a shot.
All right, so that's 3. What if Luke want to do?
Luke's kind of looking, pondering, just like, I think I'd rather deal with the dungeon first now, but if the consensus is we're to try this out, I am certainly okay with, being bait, if only for the fact that I'm very good at dodging things.
All right, I'm porcelain. What do you want to do?
I shrug. Sure.
All right, so it sounds like we want to do this water thing. All right, so then how are we going to distract them? You guys just going to run out on the water with the water walk and kind of hop up and down and try to get their attention? What are you thinking?
Well, I can send Elvira out towards the center and lead them towards us. And you see Elvira quiver, and I pat her.
Chonkers will spread his wings and their glow, and he'll say, "Mow," and he will kind of walk towards the edge there and wait for Elvira to join him.
She will.
And then he will look, as soon as Elvira, she'll look towards Fluke. Mow.
All right, and Fluke, are you able to cast haste and make it harder to hit me at the same time, or is that the same thing?
Well, no, I'm just very good at... I mean, you're a little harder to hit while hasted.
Oh, I
But,
thought you said there was an ability or something where you can make the sword.
Well, no,
can-
I'm very good at dodging. That's something I was bringing up as myself as a distraction.
Oh, okay,
So
all right.
I can use my shield of fate, and you can use it.
And Fluke, don't you have a familiar you can use for this too?
Hey, what now?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Chonkers is still staring at Fluke, waiting for the bird.
Or just kind of holds it up, flies up, and just looks back at Chonkers and just goes, "Meow, meow."
Mow.
I see that you're gonna start casting. I think we should wait until we're actually like out on the water and ready to go before we cast that. But
No, it is 10 minutes, and that was just for information.
Okay. So when we're ready to go, we'll do that. Okay. So then, I guess for above game, you guys are all gonna distract. I'm gonna get hasted. We're gonna get to the edge of the dark water when they're gonna start attacking us. When that.
So who are all gonna distract? Just out of
I think it's the 3
how many
familiars.
distractions do you have? The familiars?
What about
Yeah.
the PCs that have water walk on them? Are they also gonna go out on the water or no?
Yeah, I say we go out towards the deep end, like right before, so we can draw them in. Because I was gonna use Elvira to draw the ones from the center towards the one side that we're gonna be on. If that makes sense.
It does. How dare you?
And then once they get there, I don't know, we could probably blast them from that point. That'll be very distracting.
But they might just flee because they know that they can't get you.
That is true.
Well, let's find out. Let's do this.
So the idea is to get on. All of us are going to be out on the water. The familiar is going to be flying around, causing distractions, leading them to the people. The people are going to go into the depths or stay on the just on the edge of the depths to attack them and lead them towards them. And then while they're doing that, I'm going to get hasted, and I'm just going to bolt and I'm gonna cause the water to change. I'm gonna dash when I can dash, get out there as soon as I can, lift it up, and then run all the way back and hopefully not die.
On your own?
Asri's gonna be on my back because she has Tensor's floating disc.
Following me.
And then what would you be doing to assist with this, Asri? Are you distracting them? Are you gonna be giving me advantage in any way with like help actions? Like how what do you picture
what
you
I'm
doing?
gonna do is when you start to lift it, I'm going to hop off and kind of try to steady the other side so the weight distribution. I'm not strong, so I'm not gonna be able to help lift it, but I can at least keep it steady as you're getting it on the disc.
Help you with balancing it.
Yeah.
Okay, what about while we're going out there and while we're going back?
I can have my bow and arrow and be shooting at things if need be, but I think what I will also try to do is cantrip my. Hold on, let me make sure that this works the way I want it to. Let me actually post. Bibbity bap. Someone else's voice. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to make a loud sound echoing like from the same area, like leading towards where they are. Like, if that makes sense. Like leading 30 feet away from us.
Okay.
So that's what I'll do. I'll have minor illusion on our way out and in making loud sounds 30 feet away from us, trying to basically make it so, what's it called? They're distracted away from us that way, or at least helping. And then when we get there, I will drop that to try to help steady it so it can get up there, and then pick it back up on our way out.
Okay.
I will probably also, since no one wanted me to cast anyone, I probably will trade off my haste sword and just have that in my back pocket.
So who's then casting haste on Hephe?
I need to be hasted.
Oh, you do need to be hasted. Okay, well, I guess I'm using my haste sword for that.
Yes.
You are.
Thanks.
It's been so long since we confirmed that I get you, man.
Yeah, no, I got it.
It's been a while. Like, were we still doing that? Was that the plan?
It doubles my movement, right?
Doubles
And
your movement. It gives you a +2 to AC. Advantage on dexterity saving throws.
Okay.
And an additional action each turn, which you can use to dash, disengage, or hide, or use an object.
So am I allowed to double dash?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's an extra action, basically?
Yep, dash will double your movement speed twice.
Okay,
Or
so
there's
80
also
times 3.
disengage to consider, I say, as the rogue.
Okay, well, I can in one round I can move 240 feet if I double action dash.
Yep. So it would take you 2 rounds to get there, and then 4 rounds to get. Oh no, wait, no, it's with the Tensor's disc. How fast is the disc?
It follows
always
20 feet
stays-
behind me. It stays at a maximum. That's what it says. It follows 20 feet
Okay.
behind me.
So
It can move
Keeps
across
up, basically.
uneven terrain. It can move up and down, but only has a maximum of 10 feet up or down
Okay.
from its
And
original.
how fast are you, Asray?
Normally I am 40 feet, but I'll be on the back of Hephe, so
Okay. Oh yeah, of course. So that will make okay.
I
Yeah.
love
So
the
are you
DM
ready to
loading.
go into action, or
Let's
I
do
think
it.
we're ready to
want do
try
more
it.
planning?
I'm gonna cast Shield of Fate on Hephe.
So
Okay.
now I have a total AC of 24 between haste and shield of faith.
Okay.
Cast haste, I'll take
Yeah.
my other sword
Question.
back, and
Yeah.
You're disequipping your armor and stuff. Does that change your AC?
I'm not taking off my armor because that I'm keeping my armor on, but I'm dropping everything else.
Misunderstood.
I'm keeping my shield on as well, so I'm just keeping my shield and all of my armor. Everything else is being dropped. So between my shield, and my riding saddle. So but that doesn't like my strength is more than enough to be able to lift it up.
Yeah.
So like even with that, I have like 960 pounds of like lifting strength, and not that much carry capacity, but I can lift something and hoist it onto that disc, and then once it's there, I just need to kind of keep it steady while we bolt it as fast as we can back, which will take like 2 turns or whatever. That's my thought process. And I don't want to have to unequip all this, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to say that I do.
Yeah.
We all know what's going on thematically.
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like distractions and things are a go-go. What are we thinking, y'all? Who wants to go first for what? DM, lead us off to this
I think
mishmash
distractions
of more.
should happen first,
Yeah,
and then
of
I
course.
go out.
So first, I
And
imagine
will
the
we-
familiars will do their leading, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
So
Shrunker's
I
tail is in that water.
say roll a deception check for all your familiars.
Oh.
Let me get water while we're doing this. Apologies.
That's just charisma?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's go, Chonkers.
Wait, how the hell did you pull up a deception for him?
I have.
that's initiative,
Tresiums are
sorry.
special.
Yeah.
I see.
Man, that's a waste of a nat 20.
Yes, it sure is. Yep, it sure was.
Aw.
I'm wondering
Thanks for
Ravens
pointing
have
it out.
proficiency in any particular skills? I feel like they have some. I don't know. Perception.
Chonkers is perception and stealth.
5e Raven. Just,
I
they
think
might say
ravens are.
mimic. Just perception.
Maybe perception.
Just perception.
Okay.
Got a
I think
charisma for him.
ravens are-
I had to be sure because a raven is one of the few familiars where deception would make sense.
True.
because of mimicry.
Stats for that because I'm getting. Is it?
Yeah, just perception.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
they have a negative 2.
disappointing.
Okay.
And it's a familiar.
Well, I mean, like, okay. Owls get perception and stealth. Octopus get perception and stealth. Majestos get fucking 4 different things. Lizards get 2. I'm just saying, like,
get,
it's not.
the mimicry, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just an interesting like thing. Like, okay, so they sacrificed one of them for that.
Yeah, 13. Nice.
Yeah, not
Okay.
bad, not bad.
As they start flying over the water, all of them are attracting sharks to them. Elvira a little bit less than Vivi and Chonkers. I do need all of them to roll dexterity saving throws as sharks start like jumping out of the water to try and bite them.
Sorry, I did not mean to click that again.
Just really want to like roll combat.
Just remember.
Oh
that's
no,
what they do,
Chonkers!
Much as it'll matter, and admittedly, I haven't had a familiar in this system before. Okay, 14 is a plus.
Oh, you haven't done a stats yet, I think. No.
Yeah, I haven't done stats yet. I wasn't. I'm not used to this character mancer version of it because last time we just had it all kind of set up.
It shouldn't. At least to me, it
Nice.
just
Funny.
shows the NPC thing.
On strength?
Dexterity saving throw.
Oh, I didn't mean to roll that. I meant to hit dex. Well, I changed the dex to the strength stat by accident, so that's what it would have been.
Okay.
I mean,
Because his
Baffle
dex
lost
is
the
14.
nat 20 earlier on that, so.
yeah, but
Fair.
okay, yeah. Get your character sheet in order. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Now. Ooh.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
so-
so I give you the thing back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because dex is on that side.
Mm-hmm.
Man, a raven with a strength of 14. That would be impressive.
That
But
would be
it's raven of them all.
terrifying.
I mean, it's the same modifier,
Call.
so you want to just accept
Yeah,
it?
that's about it.
Okay, 14.
May still be the only one that lives.
As the sharks keep coming, both Chonkers just bitten off a little bit more than he could chew with how many sharks he gotten, and at one point he suddenly gets bitten and poofs. Similarly, Elvira, kind of actually the opposite in that she tries to find more sharks, but because of that, one of the sharks that was already following her managed to bite her and poofs. Vivi does also get a lot of bites after her, but manages to just barely fly high enough that they can't just reach her, and manages to lead a significant amount of sharks to the less deep part of the waters, where they
sweet.
and similarly as what we're doing with Hephe, start swimming, like wading at this deeper part at the edge, as it were, and waiting.
And that's where the rest of us are, more or less, is scattered about on that edge line, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, if they're trying to notch at your toes right now.
What's the next stage?
Tom.
Can you
Well,
tell me?
I guess the next stage is now the other distractions, the distraction PCs to start distracting.
yes. So Porcelain would be heading out towards that edge, further away from them. Like, I guess,
Okay.
like leading the other direction. And she's just gonna pick one at random and magic missile it
Cool.
to get their attention.
I'd say for the PCs who are distracting, either make an intimidation or a deception check.
Ooh, what am I better at? Probably neither.
Both are charisma, I think.
I don't think I'm good at either.
They are
but
both charisma, yes.
They
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
both charisma.
Well, I was just seeing if I had advantage in either one. Not really. Let's see how this
Proficiency?
goes. Here, yeah.
Nope, I'm the same in both. I have persuasion.
Allow me to persuade you. Blast, blast, blast.
They're not scared of me and my long limbs.
Your long, gangly, easily bite-offable limbs.
Exactly.
And before you start
Decorm, were you
deceiving them, you
also
cast haste on me,
distracting?
right?
Yes.
Just making sure.
Yeah, we'll say Fluke will probably be distracting by just like running over the water. He'd probably be doing a full movement, a bonus action dash, and an action dodge.
So,
That'll be his strategy.
are you moving along the line, as it were, or are you moving into deeper waters?
Do you zigzag?
Serpentine. I mean, I think that's one thing he'd be like, hey, Porcelain, if you run out of magic missiles, just shoot the ones that are chasing me.
So serpentine where? Both? On
Yeah.
the deep
Question.
end? The shallow end?
I mean, away from Hephe, I'd assume. I guess closer to the shallows.
Okay.
That's where we're trying to get them to pool around, right?
Yeah.
You're just trying to get them
In
away
that case,
from me.
make a dexterity saving throw.
That is good, and since I said I'm dodging, I get advantage on that.
Great.
What is Decorm doing at this same time?
Wow,
Ooh.
it does
Ooh.
not matter.
Why are you rolling this dexterity saving throw?
Because he is
'Cause he
at
was
the
told
edge
to.
where the
Okay.
sharks are gnawing at you.
Because God said so.
You take 18 points. Wow, that's high roll. But you take 18 points of slashing damage as like you mostly like manage to stay out of the way of them, but sometimes you just can't avoid one and they kind of like gnaw at your feet.
Is he bleeding?
And
No, I'm not.
That's half, right? Because of evasion?
Because of evasion, yeah. I still have 10
Yep.
HP. A little bit.
so before Ezra and Thingo, Decorm.
I'm gonna go on Lady Licky, and I'm just gonna go into the water. At least to a part where they are not able to directly attack them, and then once a couple of me notice them, I'm gonna go back out of the water.
I
Just
just-
basically gonna.
Okay.
I'm basically just gonna fish. Just go in the water like, you can catch me, and then go out in it, and then if they leave again, go in again, and then fuck you.
They're kind of like what
Okay.
Fluke's doing.
Make a deception check then.
Well, I'm more Naruto running, just like back in Serpentine.
Interestingly enough, as though Porcelain and Fluke are making like this much bigger spectacle, as it were, as they start running like to opposite sides, I imagine, to draw as many sharks away from you. In the middle, where Decorm is basically just like jumping into the water and laughing at them, the most sharks start following you there. And that would probably also be the best time for Ezra and Hephe to start their run.
Okay, so I've been hasted and I have Shield of Faith on me.
Yeah.
So I have 80 feet of movement, and that gets me 320 feet away. I have another. I'm gonna action dash So now,
Okay.
so let me. Let me pull
So
up my calculator.
since otherwise it would be too many attacks and everything to roll, since you have 3 movement actions, as it were, I'm gonna ask you to make 3 dexterity saving throws.
All with
Because
advantage.
because of the better AC, as where I am gonna lower the DC.
Okay.
And
And you get
Ezra, you
advantage
as
for the
well,
haste.
but with advantage, because you're not on the water as directly as were.
And because I'm hasted.
Yeah, Hephe also
Yeah,
gets
for
advantage
Ezra,
'cause haste.
before with advantage.
Oh, for Asri. Okay. You both have to make it. Interesting. And 3 of them, you say?
Yep, I'm on your back. I'm hoping I didn't fail any of them.
And then I'll roll mine. Gonna be significantly worse, probably.
Ooh.
Oof.
I only have a 1, so the things I'll do.
Better.
That's not bad.
Okay.
We inversed on the way.
Yeah.
On the first bout, Hephe, you have to kind of like still get used to your speed, and you're kind of like sort of stopping and going as you go, and the sharks make use of that.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that's gonna be, and you take 16 points of slashing and piercing damage. So 8 of each. As they start gnawing at you. For Ezra, that is halved.
So 16 total. Okay.
Yeah.
That means I only take 6 points of real damage because of temp HP. So that brings me down to 56.
And you said how much do I take? 8?
8, yeah.
Making sure.
So you should still have 10.
2. Yep. I should say I still have 2.
After that, though, the Hephe manages to steady himself much better and take it at a full sprint. As for this round for you, Ezra, you don't really even have to dodge. You just have to kind of make yourself small to give him the least space to attack you at. The both of you do take 10 points because they rolled a lot better of piercing damage.
We take another 10 points.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is wave 2.
Ow.
Wait, just to make sure, you said this is the middle attack, the middle dexterity save, right?
Yeah.
The 10 points because we both passed. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Making point. It just tells me that was they're strong hitters, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go
as
wave
you
3.
run further, it seems like the sharks, maybe not individually, but as a collective, they seem to be able to react to your movement speed, and sharks that are like closer to the crystal start like forming this line where they sort of start waiting for you to approach them. And both of you take 8 points of piercing damage as they gnaw at you, because those you both also saved.
Okay. Yeah. We're gonna have to turn back, I think.
And that's the first round.
Yeah.
So you're a little over halfway, I think. No, you're actually pretty close now. You can almost feel the pulses as where. Well, you can actually now feel the pulses coming from the crystal at this point, Hephe.
Okay.
Is this the point where he would be parting the water?
Well, I also had to make a decision if I'm gonna continue, because I'm like at half health. Like that did a lot of fucking damage.
That did.
Like, and we're not even there yet. So like I'm thinking that I might just have to retreat, because there's no way I'm gonna be able to get there and back. If we're gonna expect the same amount of damage each time. Like I got another like 3 or 4 turns of this crap, and I'm not gonna be able to survive that. So with that in mind, I'm gonna turn around, realizing that this isn't gonna work, because there's too much. Unless it doesn't seem like there's any more sharks on the way there, and they've all attacked us already.
Like, have we broken the line?
There's definitely sharks left, as they are also like coming from all over the lake, are coming towards this place now, knowing that something's happening here.
There's more. Okay.
But you definitely feel like you've passed most of them. There's also a thing of if you did you figure that okay, the ones near the shore, of course, they're gonna have a bad time trying to catch up with you. But the ones like that you just passed at the moment that you are at the crystal might be able to catch up with you again.
You could use a high-level healing spell somewhere. Meta, but
No, I could. I mean, these are things that I would have thought about beforehand. I just didn't think about it doing that much damage beforehand. I still have healing spells, but not a whole lot of them. Okay. How far away am I? I've moved 240 feet, 80. Yeah, so I'm 400 minus 50
in one
because
movement you would be in range for the
240. Okay.
water moving thing.
Yeah, I would be in range for water moving thing. Okay, let's fuck it. Let's commit. We're committing.
Okay.
May I ask a question?
Of course.
Asri's turn. She's technically not doing anything. Right? So can I, on this next round, have her prepared to start punching at the, like, as she's, like, making herself small, like, clinging to Hephe's side, like, trying to punch at the ones to give him advantage, or, like, to try to lower the DC of him getting hit?
Yeah. I'd allow it.
Okay.
Basically giving him half cover, as it were.
So, yeah, so to speak. I'm assuming that's going to sacrifice my advantage.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I have a +8 to my dex save. Somebody has a +1.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're committing.
That's a concentration spell.
I'm proud of you
Okay.
guys.
Okay. Do anybody else need to
Ride
do
or
anything,
die,
or is it
Hephe.
still me and Asri?
Yeah, so is there anything the distractors want to do?
They're attracted to movement, correct? That's something we noticed
Yep.
when we first encountered them. I'm going to start shooting arrows out into the water to get more that are like towards me, if that's possible.
Try to, like, lead him in a line, making it look like something's swimming.
Yeah.
I'll say make a dex check.
Sweet. Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You get a fair amount of the sharks that you notice start swimming towards the crystal, noticing there's something, and you manage to distract them, and now they suddenly notice your arrows and start moving towards there. So there's a good amount of sharks that was going to the others and isn't going now.
Woo.
Dope.
Considering how dire things are, could I pick one of the sharks out and do booming blade to use the thunder damage to attract more away?
Your casting modifier is intelligence, right?
Sadly.
You are a wizard technically, right?
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah.
Okay, then make an intelligence check.
Yeah, this is gonna go great.
It's not a negative, right? That's what matters.
Not a negative.
14.
Yeah, 14.
14. You with the shark still like coming at you and also following you, it's very easy to pick one and make a big boom. And as you do so, there's definitely you see like a swarm of partially ones that were already distracted by the Decorm, but also a lot of the ones that weren't and were heading towards Ezra and Hephe are coming to investigate what this big boom was. As it starts kind of like raining for a moment above you.
That's something.
Nothing.
And Cherry. Or Decorm.
If I have the idea that it would get some heat from theirs, I would just go in the water and let myself. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna wait till they as much as possible are close, and then I'm gonna use my dragon fear to try to get as many of them frightened as possible.
You can, yeah, okay. You can do that. I will just
If that
mechanically
makes sense,
speaking
like-
say that if they're afraid of you, that doesn't mean they're not still gonna go after the rest.
That's fair.
That will still, but they will have disadvantage. As long as he's
Not if
within sides.
Yeah, but if they're like, because if they turn around and flee from him, they
Go towards
immediately
me.
see Hephe and Ezra.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, not so
I think he's
much.
just
Like,
trying to say, like, hey, wait, hold on. Before you do that, this is a smiling DM moment of are you sure?
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Let's get. It's nothing. Yeah, no, I'm gonna use the go in the water and go out of it technique because that worked last time.
It was working. Make another deception check.
It's working because I rolled high, so hopefully I roll high now as well.
Exactly the same.
Same
So-
technique, same performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't
Don't fix what ain't broken, and you just do your thing, and you notice more and more sharks. A lot of sharks who seem like they've kind of given up on going after Hephe start also coming towards you, so the stream of sharks going to Hephe and Ezra definitely starts to shrink with all of your efforts.
Sweet.
Yay.
Okay.
Then, Hephe, what you do?
So I can't cast more than one spell a turn, even with haste. So because
Nope.
the action doesn't allow me to do that, it allows me to use an attack, dash, disengage, or hide, use an object. So I can't use it to cast another spell. So obviously I'm going to move, which is going to get me closer to it. I'm going to cast Control Water to do the trench thing, to part water, so that way we can even access the object. I think that will get me just. I'm not quite in range yet, so I still need to use my action to get in range. But it doesn't take my whole dash action. So can I use my action as a combo of like partial movement, partial getting it onto, onto the tensor's floating disc, or is that not allowed?
Well, the question is, how are you gonna go down there?
Well, I'm part of the so I'm close enough to it that when I part the water, I drop along with the water.
Okay.
How
so
far
you-
down is it?
It's a 100-foot cube, and I'm parting the water all the way down to the bottom of it. I think that's how that works.
Yeah. So.
So now we're basically at eye level with the crystal partially still submerged, but it's at least accessible from what the math was earlier.
Okay, so in that case, for the first two, make dexterity saving throws, both of you.
For the first two, okay.
Yeah, for the movement and then the casting of the spell.
Okay, 2 dexterity
Especially
saving throws.
during the casting of the spell, when you're needing to stand still for a moment, there's a lot of sharks there.
Fair.
Okay. And I'm
Thanks.
trying to punch away for Hephe.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
nice.
only
That
one
got-
of them.
I'll let you roll again.
Bap.
And then I'll
Ooh, a
roll.
little less good,
Great.
but hopefully I hoped with that 15. Jesus,
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
finger crossed.
On the first, as you are moving, general. It's as safe as before, even safer now with most of the sharks going elsewhere, and you take 4 points of piercing and slashing damage.
4 points, both of us, or just me?
On the first one, the both you 4,
Both of us 4.
because both you succeeded.
Perfect. That's not so bad.
On the second one, on the moment that Hephe takes 1 moment to cast his spell, it barely takes a second for him to cast the spell, but the sharks are ready and they just start jumping on you.
Okay.
And then... No, that's way too high. What? Oh crap! I see what I'm doing wrong.
I love those moments
There you
where you're
are.
like, what's going
Oh,
on?
we get
here?
health back?
No.
Okay.
Listen, I rolled low on that, so you don't want that. want me to re-roll that. And on the second one, Hephe, you take 21 points of piercing damage, and Ezra, you take 10.
Even
That's
with
just
the
this
lower
mass of
DC
sharks
shield and
starts-
faith and everything, fudge. 21?
Yep.
Yeah, it's probably 16. It was probably like an 18 or something earlier,
Yeah.
and then got lowered to like 16, and damn.
Well, the
17
so-
passed before, I know that.
yeah, it went down because of Ezra, and then it went up because you were standing still.
Fair enough.
Makes sense.
variable conditions cause variable results.
Yep.
I
How
accept
dare
this.
you
That's
take
the point.
everything into account?
Yep.
At some points, the DCs for the both of you weren't the same. I
That's
was
fair.
very happy that both of you passed and failed at the same moment.
Ouch. So does that happen before or after I cast a spell because of concentration saving throw?
Technically, during.
So it doesn't affect my concentration because it hadn't been cast yet when I took the damage?
Yeah, it is. You get all this pain and you kind of like bite through it and cast your spell.
Okay.
I'd say.
Okay.
And as you do so, you fall for 85 feet until the crystal.
Fall? Or do we like go with the water? Like it just.
The water parts underneath you, and you fall. Like I imagine it like as like one of those.
I imagined like a water elevator where it slowly pauses
Yeah,
and goes
okay,
down
so we're
with it.
dead because we had to. Okay.
Oh no!
Well-
I mean, I have feather fall. I might be able to, like, and we have water walk.
Because part water, I imagined it like an elevator door opening, as it were, with water, like being pushed aside.
Hey, you're the DM. Whatever you want to do. I didn't expect
Well-
to have to take fall damage.
Well,
Yeah, we just miscalculated. We knew this was a gamble. We were just bad at math.
yeah, okay, but
Alright.
it is your spell. So if you have like a way that you want to do this, then you can try that way. Like
I would like to not be hurt in the process of casting my spell.
so.
That's
We'll
what
say
I
you-
would like to do.
I
That's
feather
fair.
fall.
I will say, okay, let's.
Gotta ponder this out now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. You're kind of in a lose-lose at the moment. Because if you're slowly going with the water, like the sharks are not gonna miss that opportunity.
So
Especially,
we have
like-
to take another wave of dexterity then.
Yeah. I'm gonna say from both of you, 2 more dexterity saving throws.
2 more?
Whew.
All right.
He said we were
Feet,
gonna lose,
and you're
dog.
slowly going down.
He's not wrong. I get it. Like
Yeah, I
when
just
you
thought
really
that
think
I
about it,
just
this
thought
is
I
all
would
6
get-
seconds.
No, it's true. All right. 2 more dexterity saving throws.
Well, it's better than that or Constitution saving throws for the whiplash in our back and spine.
No,
right?
it's fine. It's just I'm gonna die here, so it's fine.
I think we both might, friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actions have
Oh no! Oh
consequences.
no! Is this a save? Can I hold on? Does that
Not one.
halfling lucky? Does that? Hold on. I can't read it without each foot.
Or saving throw.
Saving throw. Yes.
Yeah, save throws
Okay.
also.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm hoping I passed both. Oh, God. I hope.
As you,
Oh.
well, you can see it now. I didn't gem roll. As you go down, sharks just start jumping on you, and at this point they also like start jumping on you from on top of the edge that you leave, as it were, and downwards. And Hephe, you kind of get swarmed by
Wait.
them. And you take 18 points of. Wait.
I was gonna say, while because I haven't used my second, I've used a cast action. I haven't dashed yet. I've just moved because I hadn't gotten there yet. I wanted to dash and move, but while that hasn't happened yet technically because we're still descending. I was just curious if there was an ability for me to use Channel Divinity to try to give us some healing, or it's too late. It's your choice.
Can you post haste in the chat?
I can copy paste haste in chat.
That works as well.
So this is what haste
in
does.
your game, you have potions on
I
you.
have a normal action, which I use to cast my spell, which I
don't.
use to do control water.
Yeah. You have your movement.
Oh, but
and then
it's
you
not,
have your
it's
haste
not
action.
using an ability. So you're right. It's attack, dash, disengage, hide, or use an object. So it's not. I would not be able to do it. You're
No.
correct. So never mind. Continue with the death.
TPK.
I can't fault you for trying.
Nope. Actions have
It's-
consequences.
On the first wave, Hephe, you take 18 points of piercing and slashing damage
I'm down.
as they just start biting you everywhere. And Ezra, you manage to dodge most of them, and you only take half, so you take 9.
Okay.
But
When he
then-
goes down, does water walk stay up, or do I sink?
Water walk stays up, but water control water doesn't. So as you look up, suddenly you see like slowly the same water elevator that you had start collapsing in on itself again. As you need to swim. I'm gonna say with your lucky, you do manage also, like the sharks are also confused by what's happening, and you do manage to get away from them.
How far is the ceiling above us, if I may ask?
I'd say you at this point you'd be about 40 feet, because it was going to be 2 turns to get there. So with the second thing, you take 6 points of slashing and piercing damage. As you pop back up on the water, and where there was once Hephe, you now just see this pile of red spreading through the water.
Well, he still floats back up, doesn't he?
I am in plate armor, bro. I sink.
Well, yeah, but you have water walk. That's not.
And there's about like 25 sharks or so, like biting and eating at him.
Like,
Yeah.
So I have a question. How far ahead above us is the ceiling?
I'd say 80 to 100 feet.
80 to 100. Fuck me. Oh. And I just want to make sure that there's no like rocks or anything up around that, like within 60 feet of each other, or that I could be in between.
Make a perception check.
I mean, one thing you might could do while trying to run is you use Step of the Wind to do bounding leaps.
Hold on, I have an idea.
So
if I can just get like two
what
waters,
exactly were
like
you looking
5,
for?
like two, like me being in between 2 rocks that like on each side are within 30 feet of me or so. That way, and like that look like they could be like about 5 or 10 feet above the ground.
As you look around, you don't see much. You do see a bit on the, not literally from the opposite of where you came, but a bit to the left of you, I'd say. You see a couple of very large stalactites hanging that's close to the water's edge, as it were.
Okay, I've got to wait for my character sheet to reload because my internet's being my internet right now. Or my Roll20. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. This is a high intense moment, and I need my character sheet to load. Please don't make me reload Roll20. I will be upset if you make me reload. There we go. Okay, so I haven't done this since I got this goddamn cloak, but once a day I can cast a web. I would like to do that between those 2 stalactites and try to do some sort of acrobatics to jump up there and be out of reach of these fucks.
Okay.
And be on the webbing.
I'd say make one last dexterity saving throw as you are moving there.
Okay.
To get there.
I just fucking put my character sheet. I'm so mauled it. Dexterity. Saving throw. 19.
Okay. On one hand, there seems to be now more focus on you, though there still are a lot of them completely focused on what was once Hephe. You start running, and you feel something bite on your leg, and you manage to shrug it off, and just before like the larger swarm comes at you, you manage to reach it. You do take 8 points of piercing damage.
I'm at 6 HP. Okay. But now at least, when she's up there on her next turn, she's going to start walking up the stalactite as best she can to try to, like, get to the ceiling and avoid these sharks and try to get back to land, basically.
You do have the spider climb thing, too, right?
Yeah, because of the cloak. Same way I was able to do the web thing.
Okay, yeah. So, with that, you... At first, like, they're still kind of jumping at you, but once you get too high, they start swimming to the various distractions. And I'd say for the rest of you, make a perception check.
That was still on the bed.
Yeah.
So 13, 18. And a 1 or a 16. Oh, that's a performance, so it is a 1. Damn.
Yeah. Okay. So, Fluke, you kind of manages to follow what's happening until the water elevator starts, and at that point, you realize, like, you see a lot of them like sort of start jumping in, and you realize, oh shit, this is getting extra dangerous. I need to make a bigger distraction, as it were. And so you are not able to follow what happens after that. Porcelain, you see everything from like the red cloud that happens in the water suddenly to Ezra jumping and running for her life. Decorm, you at this point have amassed a very large crowd of sharks, as it were, and at this point, even though you're still being fairly safe about it, it also does take you all of your focus on this to not get bitten. As after a couple of moments, Ezra, you manage to spider climb all your way all the way back to shore.
You're muted, Baffle.
Sorry. All of the sharks that are in front of me right now, I just start firebolting them. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care if they start running away. I'm going to be firebolting all of them.
Asri just collapses onto the ground and just tears down her face, like quiet crying. No, not sobbing openly, just sitting there.
Can you firebolt into water?
She doesn't care right now, I don't think.
I see a lot of hungry, bitey mouths.
Don't think that's the point of the fireballs at this point.
I probably don't kill any of them, do I?
Probably
no, that's... You see some of them get damaged, but it isn't enough to... like, it would take you hours to kill one, as I'd say.
Ah. I'll give that up after a while. And the other two have not noticed, so I'm going to... I'm going to call after Fluke and Decorum.
At some point, they're gonna notice that it's taking a lot longer than it should have according to plan.
I mean, the fact is, Asri's returned, then the disc follows after her. Honestly, though, I didn't want to bring it up. The disc disappears after we descend more than 10 feet.
Oh.
I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want the demon to hold it against us, but it was a mechanic.
Yeah, that's...
Because like we were already in the death spiral.
Have been able to do it if you were down there in that...
When we reeled it back up.
You could have cast it down there and then taken it up, as it were. Or even in the worst case scenario, have Hephe lift up with the water and then place it on the thing as you're above the water again.
Yeah.
The plan was doomed from the start. Wish we knew that.
Yeah, yeah.